Raider Nation, it's good to be back. Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we are alive. Shout out to everybody that took time out of their day to tune into this show. It's June 11th. I got asked a bunch over the past week. Mitch, when's going to be the next Madden simulation? That's going to be this Thursday, this Friday. Two monumental games for the Silver and Black. Make sure you're tuned in. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button, which most of the people that are tuned in right now are obviously subscribed to the show. I do want to give some shout-outs here. Let's get some Raiders down below if you want to shout out on the Raiders Report. I got Dan. What up, Dan? Clemente, Robert, Chad, James Johnson, One Shot 89. I got to give a major shout-out to my dude, Top Beats. Top Beats and I were talking when we waited for like 30 minutes for the Raiders to have a presser today. Maxx Crosby, Nate Hobbs, we'll talk about them a little bit. Jakobi Meyers, they spoke to the media, and they went live on YouTube, Chugs, and it took them probably 33 minutes until somebody actually went up to the podium.
Delay of stream on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
I was waiting for Rebel, King Shav. I mean, I actually would have felt bad for King Shav. He would have been sitting there counting.
Yeah.
Think about how many. He would have got up to at least 1,000.
530, 759.
I'm me for me. What's up, man? Big Papa. Appreciate all of y'all. I had a bunch of people over the weekend asking me how the bachelor party went. Had a really good time. I can't tell you everything that we did, but a lot of golf, which my buddies are really into golf.
Oh, that's what they're calling it these days.
Yeah, there was let's just say a hole-in-one. Yeah, hole-in-one. Today we're going to talk about some minicamp news.
Hopefully you didn't get any bogeys.
No. I wish I had another joke for that. I don't know. Actually, yeah, I do, but that involves my 9-iron. More attention at minicamp, offense or defense?
Good joke.
Chugs is like, I got a 3-wood.
Good joke. Yeah.
No?
I got a putter.
Yeah? Sure.
All reliable.
Sometimes all you need is a good sand wedge or a chip-in wedge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, 365 days till next season's hockey tryouts.
Petey's walking around with a driver.
Oh, there's not a doubt in my mind. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Drags on the ground on his way to work.
Really? That's something new you learn every day. Well, some of y'all are wondering, what the hell are we talking about here? Sometimes we talk about random stuff. More attention at minicamp, offense or defense. We'll go through everything that happened today. Then we're going to get into my updated Raiders 53-man roster projection, OTAs. That was last week. Kind of had a week off, and now we're at this point in minicamp. I know that there's only been one day of practice. However, I thought we could look at it, talk about it. A player that we bring up a bunch, there's been some NFL news around him in the last 24, 48 hours. We'll talk about that. A player that also we mentioned a lot, retired, so not Darren Waller. So we're going to look at some updated free agent targets.
Aggressive Master Raider says, I abuse my putter.
Yeah, dude. There's not a... I'll tell you what, Aggressive Master Raider, I know that one for a fact.
Oh, my God.
Aggressive Master Putter.
I think just because of the quarterback position, it's got to be offense. Even though I think the defense is very interesting. You have Christian Wilkins. You have a lot of, guys who are returning a lot, not question marks, but a lot of, can they build off what they did last year towards the end of the year on defense? But when you have a quarterback battle, that's going to be the main focus.
No, and I actually think more attention at minicamp from the media is obviously going to come from the offensive side of the football. And, I could also say offense as well because of Brock Bowers, Jackson Power-Johnson, their top 2 picks. But, maybe it's just the, insane Raider fan in me where this defense legitimately has a top 1, top 5 potential. And when you see a lot of the buzz that came out today, again, from Maxx Crosby, Christian Wilkins, it's like, we could talk about the offense all we want, but if we actually want this team to go to the playoffs, I don't know if it is.
Playoffs?
It's going to be on the defense's back. It's not going to be a scenario where if the Raiders don't have a top 10 defense, they're not in the, they will not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can't convince me otherwise. So let me know, offense, defense, it's me, believe. What's up, man? Right now, 64% of the votes came in for offense. Reminder, if you guys want to get your questions, comments on the show, #Raiders or Super Chats, and we'll put you up here. What up, Raider Prime? What's up, brother?
Hey, brother.
Need my content. I had a good time, obviously, at my buddy's bachelor party. I also got to see my mom for the first time in a year. We went out for breakfast. That was really nice. it's nice to get away from work, but like waking up this morning, thinking about what I'm going to talk about, talking to Chugs about like what's the show going to look like, you instantly get excited again. I have extreme FOMO when I'm away from my phone and computer for 3 days or whatever. Like just, you try to get away, you try to enjoy your little break. You feel like you miss so much because of how much stuff literally does happen all day, every day. But it's good to be back, and I'm happy that you're here. What up, Evil Mitch? Thoughts on the Madden cover? Raiders weren't even wearing white in 2022. F the Niners. I don't want Howard anymore. What is he thinking? We'll talk about Xavien Howard here in a little bit. It's one of the players that we'll discuss. And then here, I've actually answered this to a few fans that have mentioned me on Instagram or on Twitter about the Madden cover.
I tweeted it out. The NFL hates the Raiders.
One, I do think it's weird how they put the Raiders behind Christian McCaffrey because you're right, the Raiders were wearing their home jerseys when they played the 49ers back in Week 17. Last year when they played them in the preseason, same exact thing. McCaffrey didn't even play in that one. But I'll also say, like, the Raiders are the only team in the NFL that is technically in some way, shape, or form, I'll say featured every year with just having the name Madden. Like, that's kind of how I look at it. Now, I'm still hoping that, you get a guy like Mad Max or something, Davante down the stretch can get on the Madden cover. But I actually like the fact that they did it because to me, the way that the mantra is when you hear these Raiders players, coaches, all these people talk about, they got a monstrous chip on their shoulder, and they want that nobody believes in us mentality, and I think it's just another little thing that, if it was me, it's bulletin board material. Like, that's what you think of us? You're going to put us on the Madden cover? We're getting blown by Christian McCaffrey. We haven't played in that scenario, in that situation. Oh, my. Yeah, that's a major pause. Evil Mitch, I'm okay with it. To me, give me as much bulletin board material as you possibly can. That's only going to help this team out.
I'll take the tuna.
What up, Teddy the Cool?
Bear.
You don't think the Raiders can make it with the offense if our defense is top 10 or less? I really think Gardner and AOC should run a dual quarterback system. We can make a lot of things happen. Dual quarterback system scares the hell out of me. You're not going to do that.
No.
To me, what's really important for a QB, and honestly, like most sports, is reps, where, you got to be able to find that hot hand. You got to be able to stick with it. And if you're not getting this quarterback the amount of reps they need, not only does that hurt your QB, I think it also hurts your first-year OC. I think it also hurts your receivers trying to learn a brand-new system. It's just you're adding another level of complexity to it, though, based off of what we heard today from the players, the coaching staff, it has not come out and said, and obviously, like, there's still so much more time to go here. Kind of think that Aiden O'Connell might have a lead in this quarterback race. However, there's a part of me when you look at how the Luke Getsy offense really does truly operate and run at its highest form, especially in 12 personnel. I do think you need a little bit more of a mobile quarterback in order to do that, so maybe Gardner's the better fit, but Gardner and AOC are not going to carry this team to the playoffs. They're going to be the reason why if they don't turn the ball over and the Raiders have a top 10 defense, that's how you make the playoffs. Like, I'm not even ripping on AOC or I'm not ripping on Gardner. It's just, that's what I personally believe. All right, we got a special Venmo deal, and I haven't done this since, I guess I did it last week. I feel like I've been gone for months. First 10 people who Venmo me $20 are in our Zoom call. So not only are we going to do a duck race today, so person who ends up winning comes in first place, you get, let's hopefully we get to $100 at least, right? And then the first 10 people also that Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365, like Jason Gutierrez, you in. Also, Jason, send me your email. So if you're going to be one of the first 10 people that want to do our duck race today for a chance to win some money, if you could, also send me your email. That way, when we do our Zoom call tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, that we can get all the emails in, and I'll end up sending those out at the end of today's show. So just a little FYI there. I'll give shout-outs as the show goes on today. We got 350 people watching. So if you hear me call out your name and say you in, well, it means that you're in that Zoom call. So right now, as it stands, I got my man Can't Walk, and I got Jason Gutierrez are the first two people in. Carl, I already have your email from the last time you were in, so you should be good there. Jason, I might have to double confirm yours, but if you still just want to send me, that would be a huge, huge help. All right, let's have this question, and then I'm ready to get into the news from today. If the Raiders sign a free agent, which position should it be? Not who should it be, because we did get some pretty big news over the past 48 hours around the cornerback position, which I'm genuinely curious to see how it persuades your opinion of what the Raiders should potentially do in free agency. Free agent, are you thinking corner still, or are you going to go a little bit of a different direction?
I might be swayed to say offensive line, offensive guard.
Okay.
With the injuries that are happening, we'll break it down later with Jackson Powers-Johnson and Kolton Miller. Your whole left side has been kind of shaky to start the offseason now. Overreaction, Tuesday? Yep. But it's, minicamp. We're not even close to training camp preseason, the start of the season. But still, those injuries do worry me a little bit. And do you have faith in Cody Whitehair and, Dylan Parham and those guys? Like, do you possibly want to maybe bring back a guy like Greg Van Roten? Or bring back or bring in a offensive lineman, maybe a Connor Williams who won't be able to start the regular season, but throughout the year, if you need somebody on the interior, need some depth on the O-line.
How many games is he suspended for?
Connor Williams not suspended. I think he tore his ACL. He hurt himself. So
I was going to say,
he might not be ready to start the year. That's the whole thing with Connor Williams, why he's not signed yet, because he injured himself, I believe, in week 10 or 11 last year.
I knew he got injured, but
yeah,
when you said that, I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah,
did he get suspended?
That's part of the reason why he hasn't been signed, because obviously he's
good.
He's good. He's a starting level center guard in the league now.
No, I agree with that. So we'll kind of go through today's show. I'm going to do a little bit different of what I usually do with my top free agent targets. We'll also talk about the injuries around Kolton Miller, Jackson Powers-Johnson. There is an update on both of those guys. But what I wanted to do today is go through all the positions and just give you my top 3 players that I would target at each position for Telesco, for Antonio Pierce, who right now currently sit at $34.1 million in salary cap space. I know we've all been anxiously waiting for them to sign someone. I do think it ends up happening, but we also said it, weeks ago, where it's probably, if it happens, it's probably going to happen after minicamp, right?
I would say right before training camp,
before training camp,
during training camp, because a lot of the times, you've mentioned this multiple times, is that some of these veterans, some of these guys are also, they were waiting for a couple things. One, for June 1st to hit, which it did, for teams to get more money in for them to pay out contracts. But 2, also waiting to see, which is going to sound bad, but waiting to see who gets injured. Because there's always somebody in the preseason, always somebody in training camp that gets injured. And if you're in the right place in the right time, you could get a big payday if, say you're a safety and one of the top teams in the AFC or NFC has a safety that goes down.
Absolutely.
You could possibly get a good contract with that team. So maybe somebody like a Justin Simmons, somebody,
That'd be fun.
Like that could be waiting for his right opportunity to pounce.
Pounce right on it. Justin Simmons on this secondary would be fun. It would definitely catch me off guard a little bit, but man, oh man, that'd be a hell of a safety room. What up, Evil Chugs? If the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, which team would you want to play that would move mountains and feed families and end world hunger? There's only one answer. If I got to be the one that's running the show, if it's Jeremy Chugs and I, Raiders report, Super Bowl to do all those things, it's the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Or the San Francisco 49ers. You give me any 3 of those scenarios. Now, again, I'm putting it Raiders spin / chat sports spin / I just know what would do well for us personally.
The 4th one, and maybe a dark horse candidate, the Lions.
The Lions would be good for us personally. It's not too often, I think, that the majority of people would root against the Raiders. Now, maybe people do, but in that scenario, only Raider fans are rooting for the Raiders. Everybody in America would root for the Lions.
Yeah.
There would be a lot of attention on us.
But yeah, Lions first Super Bowl, that would go crazy.
Texas versus Mexicans. I can't even feed myself. You know, I've actually heard if you sit on your hand for a really long time, it actually feels like somebody else is feeding you.
Mm-hmm.
I do it sometimes with strawberries, some grapes.
They call it stranger lunch.
Wow. That's hilarious. Coming up live here on the show, let's get into some mini camp news. I got my updated free agent targets, a 53-man roster projection. And as always, if anybody wants to get those questions, comments in, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. And if you want an opportunity to win some money, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Right now, the people that are in are Carl, Jason, and my dad. And Dad, if you want to join the Zoom call, as far as I'm concerned, I'm fine with that. That's just up to you. Zoom call tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's your time, big guy. Does anybody want to Zoom in with my dad? I'm a little bit worried. That'd make me kind of nervous. I feel like that would either be really good for me or he would just be like, this is a shit show. Zahn will be there too. Yeah, Zahn, I don't know if you know this, but you're in every single one that we do. All right, y'all. Let's get into the news and rumors here that happened at Raiders Mandatory Minicamp today. We're also going to just speak about what some of the coaches had to say. Again, some of the Raiders players spoke to the media today. So we'll go from top to bottom, all that type of good stuff, some takeaways, and then I think we're going to do free agent targets, and then it's the 53-man roster. Yep, that's all lined up. And then at the very end is going to be that duck race to win some money. $20 Venmo. Right now you have a chance to win $30.
Wow.
Hey.
There we go.
It's an improvement, but you're also going to join the Zoom call on Wednesday. Uh-oh. No? Okay. I was like, you never know what's about to happen.
Raises? Oh, my God!
What's your favorite restaurant? Raises Cane's. Love that place.
My boss just came in and said we're all eating Nick and Sam's tomorrow. That is wild. I see green arrows. 2-10 today. 2-10.
He's like, I don't know.
Texans versus Mexicans, can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, Yoda Jenkins. That's kind of what I'm worried about, man. I'm worried my dad telling some stories.
Oh, that's my favorite question to ask whenever I meet somebody's parent is, what's the most embarrassing thing your son or daughter has done?
He's probably got a few of them. My dad's also, he can get into a long story. It could also be like my grandmother where you talk to her on the phone and you're like, this is either going to be a 30-minute conversation or this is going to be 30 seconds long.
Raider Sancho wants to give a shout-out to Mr. Roloff. He said chicken French.
Dude, chicken French right now? I could eat that. Evil Chugs, if the Raiders win the bowl, 24-hour live.
I mean,
here's the only thing. There's two reasons why I'll say I'm not going to do a 24-hour live. One, YouTube can't do it. I would go, if the Raiders won the Super Bowl, I promise you this, we would ride it out until we get to that 12-hour spot because then you got to start a new, live stream anyway.
Also,
you don't want me to be live after the Super Bowl. I wouldn't make it.
Well, I was going to say,
I wouldn't make it.
If we had to go 24 hours after the Super Bowl, if the Raiders were in the Super Bowl for one, we'd be prepping that whole day. So we'd be getting in probably, early morning, probably like 8 or 9.
Yep.
Games at, 5:30?
Yep.
So it would be a long day. Like the end of the Super Bowl, it would already have been a long day for us. So to go 24 hours past that?
Yeah, it'd be tough. I would say this, and this is just being honest, the better bang for your buck content would be instead of us just staying live for 24 hours after the Super Bowl, let's just put our bodies on the line for the 4 hours after. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get better. Like 4 hours there is going to be way, way more entertaining. I bet you that 4 hours there is like Davante Adams trade / the final 3 hours of when the Raiders fired Josh McDaniels live. Like that's going to be a lot more of a good time. You know what, though? I hope that one day we actually get the debate of what we're going to do.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope we actually get the debate at some point what we're going to do.
It's pretty easy right now to be like, oh, what would we do?
I feel like it's almost like the lottery. Like, what would you spend that first million? Like, I feel like I actually only buy lottery tickets anymore for the thought of what I would spend the money on. That's like the only reason why you do it. You're trying to occupy your time a little bit this weekend. You're like, I'll buy a lottery ticket and I'll just sit down and figure out what I would spend my money on.
First, I'd probably buy a car.
Second, Mount Raider more. Coming up, Raiders minicamp news. Chugs, Mando, let's get into it. Yeah. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we got some notes from some coaches that spoke to the media today. Remember, Raiders mandatory minicamp gets underway June 11th, June 13th. We also got some takeaways from players that spoke. Mad Maxx, Jakobi Meyers, Nate Hobbs. Got some characters on this team. And then basically the Spark Notes version of some of the practice news that we just heard today. A lot of injury updates as well around Davante Adams, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Kolton Miller. I know that it's June, but this is actually probably one of the most important weeks in the entire offseason. You got mandatory minicamp practice today, tomorrow, and then on Thursday. To make sure that you don't miss anything, we're going to be providing updates around the silver and black. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because this is a very important week during the offseason. If you don't know some of the mandatory minicamp news notes, like to know, if you will, you're allowed 10 hours a day maximum. You're allowed 24 hours over that 3-day stretch. The Raiders had like their media day, meet and greet day. It's kind of like that first day of school on Monday. Today was their first actual day of practice. Physicals, again, were on Monday. You're allowed 2 practices totaling 3.5 hours on field per day. The second practice, which is going to be for the Raiders June 12th, Wednesday, is going to be limited to walkthrough activities only, and then you get back into Thursday. You ramp it up a little bit, but this is your opportunity for players, for coaches to meet each other, kind of get it going, and then, yeah, you got a little bit of a time off. But, like, for a team like the Raiders who have $34.1 million, this is also very important because you want to be able to figure out what you got in certain guys. That way you can know what you're going to do with that cap space by training camp to see if you're going to go out and try to sign anybody else. So first thing we're going to get into is some takeaways from Raiders offensive coach Scott Turner. It helps a lot with the passing game. He said that Bowers and Mayer is going to be a huge advantage for the Las Vegas Raiders because he knows how difficult it is for opposing coordinators to scheme against 12 personnel, which 12 personnel is one of the things that we hear time and time again when we talk about Luke Getsy and this Raiders offense and the amount of studying that it's being required from not only players, but also the coaches with 12 personnel and what exactly it means and how it's going to look differently for all these different people. Like, it is something that I do think that is going to catch a lot of people off guard in the NFL. And, you know, they kind of mentioned it's a copycat league. And when you got Bowers, you got Mayer, and don't sleep on Harrison Bryant either. This staff has got a lot to learn, and they're going to have to ramp it up, especially in an interesting quarterback battle, which kind of takes me to my next spot here of what Scott Turner talked about. Kind of talked about how the staff has to learn this Getsy offense where, you know, a lot of the times it's just focused on how can Gardner do it? Can AOC learn it? What does it look like? This staff also has to learn it, and then they have to be able to teach it, which is one of the things that Turner spoke about today. He also talked about how he's a UNLV grad, that he loves being in Las Vegas, and, you know, it makes me think that the Raiders, a lot of the coaches on the offensive side of the football last year are no longer here. One of the things that the Raiders were really looking for is football players that love football and can really add to this, like, locker room feel they're trying to do. I'm wondering if because of this mentality that Turner brought is the reason why they ended up keeping him. And then the next thing that Turner said, and this is going to be a very common thing of some of the players, what they talked about today, there is no indication of who's leading this QB battle between Aiden and between Gardner Minshew. But if there's one thing that I gathered from today is there is a lot of trust. And when they talk about quarterbacks, Aiden's name is the one that continuously gets brought up, which based off of what I heard today, I'm not saying that somebody told me something, but just based off people's words and based off people's actions, I think that Aiden O'Connell might be leading this quarterback battle. Again, that's just my gut feeling based off of what we heard today. Nothing was actually said, though. It's just a gut feeling. You know what? My gut tells me that if you stink, it's going to be a rough life for you. You're probably going to be a little bit lonely, might even be a little bit single. Shout out to today's sponsor, Mando. And if you haven't already, use code CHAT at shopmando.com. Hey there, baseball fans. Do you hate foul balls, Chugs? I don't know about you. I hate foul balls. You know the kind, no matter how hard you scrub them in the shower, they still smell like last week's nacho cheese? Well, ditch the soap and step up to the plate with Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Developed by a doctor, this game-changing formula is safe for your entire body. Knockout odor like a champ. Now, I do think we have this awesome special offer. New customers get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code CHAT at shopmando.com. Mando.com. I like Mando because you can use it literally everywhere. So I was just at a bachelor party this past weekend, and you're eating a lot, you're drinking a lot, you're hanging out with your friends, and you're going to sweat, especially with the group of guys I was with. There was a lot of sweating going on. But, like, you also don't want to stink when you go out. You're trying to look your best. So I was able to have my full body deodorant in a compact little case. Was able to use it on the feet, under the arms, saved me a little bit of space. I'm not going to lie. I flew Frontier, so I had to only take my backpack. So the fact that I was able to take Mando's deodorant, one little tube of it, was ready to rock and roll the entire time. And I think the fact that it's also clinically proven to control body odor better than a shower with soap alone. You got 12 hours after a shower. The average man's Grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average Grundle odor level is a 0 out of 10. I don't know how many people like Grundle odor. I know I'm not one of them. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes if you need a better comparison, and free shipping. Luckily, I got a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com. If you don't know how to spell it, it's SHOPMANDO.com. Shout out to them for sponsoring the Raiders Report. All right, one of my favorite coaches here, and definitely uses Mando, Rob Leonard, Raiders defensive line coach. He said that this is one of the best defensive lines that he's ever coached in 12 years. Like, that's a high praise thing, and I think that the type of coach that the Raiders have they are people that speak the God-honest truth. They don't just blow smoke. He also said that the defensive line is going to set the tone, and he didn't really say specifically, like, just for the defense, and maybe he was just speaking for the defense. There's a part of me, though, that thinks the amount of times Rob Leonard mentioned Maxx Crosby, he didn't say Max, didn't say Crosby, but he mentioned 98 over and over and over again. The D-line's going to set the tone for the entire team, and if they're bringing it, it's going to be a hell of a football game. He also then was talking about Tyree Wilson, which doesn't surprise me, and said that Tyree, still got a lot of learning to do, but, like, just kept mentioning the standard and how Tyree now finally seems like he's starting to wrap his mind around the standard of this is what it takes to be great in the NFL. This is what it takes to be a Raider. If you do both of those things, you can turn out to be like number 98. Talked about Malcolm Koonce and how he's grown tremendously, and this is a second example this offseason that you've heard one of the Raiders defensive coaches talk about the growth of a player like Malcolm Koonce, not only on the field, but as a leader in that locker room. Byron Young said that he's having a solid offseason, which this is really big for the third-round pick out of Alabama, 74th overall. You got a brand-new regime, which a lot of times means, like, different moving parts. And you got Matthew Butler, Nesta Jade Silvera. They brought back a dude like Marquand McCall. You have 2 UDFAs, and as far as I'm concerned, like, they showed Byron Young and this entire defensive tackle team what they thought of them by going out and re-signing Adam Butler, re-signing John Jenkins, and going out and paying Christian Wilkins $27.5 million per year. Big opportunity for Byron Young in front of him, which brings me to this question here. Give me a yes or give me a no. Will Byron Young make the Raiders' 53-man roster? And if you're watching this video live, luckily for you, I'm going to be talking about a 53-man roster. If you're not watching this live, well, hey, this video is going to be dropping a little bit later on the Raiders Report. Just gives you another opportunity to hit subscribe and get some of that extra content in the offseason. Give me a yes, give me a no. Will Byron Young make the Raiders' 53-man roster? All right, let's now go to Edgar Bennett, the Raiders wide receiver coach, and he also spoke to the media today, said that the receiver room is much deeper than expected, and I'm going to talk to you guys about somebody that was playing receiver today. It's on the defensive side of the football, kind of wild. Talked about Trey Tucker, said that he's got the right mindset, and he's really starting to, come into his own. It's still really difficult to do that as a player, but you could tell that he was very confident in Trey Tucker as a receiver, not so much just a special teamer. Jakobi Meyers is a leader on and off the field, really funny guy. We'll talk about some of the stuff that he spoke to the media about today, but like, really a good tone setter, likes to be a solid run blocker, might not put up these big numbers behind Davante Adams, but still one of the better receivers in this league. Talked about how Brock Bowers just loves football, more examples of that, how he's explosive. Talked about the 12 personnel. He does expect Michael Gallup to be able to contribute. Talked about his route tree. Talked about the tape that he has. I'm just genuinely curious how much he's actually seen Michael Gallup play, though he did practice today. Then he was asked about Tulu Griffin. He was also asked about Michael Gallup. I don't know if he just forgot about Tulu Griffin, UDFA, but like he answered the Gallup question, and he totally dodged the Tulu question, which made me wonder, does he not think very highly of the UDFA? Coming up next here, though, let's get into some Raiders practice notes. We'll talk about some of the things that Maxx Crosby said, Nate Hobbs said today. I got some notes also on some of the players that shined at practice, and then one dude that might be playing both sides of the football. I don't really know. Maxx Crosby spoke to the media, and anytime you have Max, everybody listens, and that was a very, very evident thing. Some of the things that I wrote down, he called Aiden O'Connell a leader, which another example. If Maxx Crosby's calling Aiden a leader, and he mentions him in the same breath as a lot of the other captains on the team, that's a really big thing for me. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Said that Tyree Wilson's really starting to come along. Spoke about how all the guys on this team really love football. And then the other thing that he said was his great connection with Adam Butler and just how he was like one of his guys. He was one of his dogs. And I do think it's one of the things that led to Butler getting re-signed this offseason. Nate Hobbs spoke to the media, said that he thought Jakobi Bennett is confident, doesn't really like that people think that he's an unconfident player right now. Said that he's ready for any challenge, wherever they want to put him on the football field. Spoke about Aiden O'Connell impressing him yet again. My favorite quote that Hobbs said is, the players trust Antonio Pierce because Antonio Pierce trusts them, which, is a really big thing for this football team. I think it's a really big thing for this fan base because you didn't trust Josh McDaniels. And then he said, he can't believe how amazing of a player Wilkins is, how he's 300 pounds and he's like the first guy off the line. Jakobi Meyers, my biggest note on him was he made me laugh the entire time. He was just giving funny answers. Somebody asked him, all right, if they go to 18 games, what does that mean? He's like, I guess I'm showing up because nobody's taking my money from me. Also, Meyers said, impressed by Aiden O'Connell. No, I did not hear Gardner Minshew's name mentioned once today, but by coaches and players, I heard it at least 4 to 5 times, so that's got to be something. And then he also said that it's been fun, just trying to learn a brand new offense with Luke Getsy. Let's now get into some more notes that happened today at practice. I know there was a lot of people wondering, is Davante Adams okay? He did end up practicing today. He did not practice a single time during Raiders OTAs, which are not mandatory, but it's mandatory minicamp. Adams was still at least in the building. So it was good to see him practice today. This one made me the most happy. Jackson Powers Johnson, he practiced today. So last week before I went to my buddy's bachelor party, I was told that JPJ was dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury. This kind of proved that he was just taking it easy at OTAs, and now he's out there practicing, and he seems fired up and happy to be out there. Kolton Miller did not participate today in practice, though he was out there for warm-ups, and I believe 88 players out of the Raiders, 91 in total, all practiced today. And it's a report coming in from Tashawn Reed, who, yes, said 88 players were present today for first day of Raiders mandatory minicamp. The 3 non-participants, Kolton Miller, who you can see is rehabbing from off-season shoulder surgery, so he's still dealing with a little bit of a shoulder problem there. And then also Matthew Butler, which that's not a good sign for Butler. And then Darian Butler's been battling ACL, MCL. He's got a lot of knee issues. And I think if he wasn't an ASU grad, the writing would probably already be on the wall. Then, yeah, a lot of Butlers. Christian Wilkins looks great. I didn't realize you put that title in there. F&A Chugs. No, but Christian Wilkins looked great today. He said that Maxx Crosby talked about how great this defensive line is because of how the defensive tackle room is going to get better, the coaching staff. I'm telling you right now, people do not understand how good Christian Wilkins is going to be. Jack Jones, this might be the most amazing and mind-blowing thing, worked with the wide receivers today. And I'll say this because Chugs and I were talking about it before the show went live. We don't really like the idea of Jack Jones playing receiver. Now, I get it. He played receiver in high school. He had over 1,500 yards. I think I saw he had 106 catches, something like that. But if the Raiders signed another corner and you were confident in your cornerback room, I'd be at least all right. But the Raiders wide receiver room might be their most stacked position group on their entire team. And now you're going to have your top outside corner go out there and play receiver. Jones probably loved it. He was probably fired up about it. And that's the competitive nature. I get it. But, we don't need help at receiver. We need help at corner. And I'm telling you this right now, if I would have heard a report that Jack Jones got hurt at Raiders practice during wide receiver drills, I would be very upset. It's fun, it's competitive, but I'm going to be honest, I don't love the idea of him working on the receivers. Let's get him in the cornerback room until our cornerback room gets a little bit stronger here. Another thing that I thought was very interesting, Dylan Laube working with the ones today in passing situations. So if there was a situation that involved pass blocking or, where the running back's going to catch the football, Laube was somebody in there working with the ones, and it just tells me yet again, this coaching staff is fired up about him. He continued to impress at OTAs. This tells me he's already working his way up the depth chart. For him to be working with the ones on days that Zamir White, Alexander Madison, and Amir Abdullah are all practicing, if you got a PPR fantasy league, get Dylan Laube on your team. I think he's going to be a sleeper guy to keep in mind. Now, shout out to all y'all for tuning in to the Raiders Report. Finally got my Screaming Chicken jersey on as well. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure those notifications are turned on. And if you're watching this live right now, y'all ready to turn up because we're here to have a good time. National Corn on the Cob Day, best corn dish. Elote is the answer.
Elote?
Elote's the answer.
Better than cornbread.
Oh, shit. So I actually had a cornbread cookie this weekend. Unbelievable.
Oh, my God.
What did he say?
Jones.
Cream corn?
It's just called creamed corn. You don't have to say cream of corn. No, it's creamed corn. It's not cream
corn.
of corn.
I will say I do like cream corn.
You're not getting the cream from the corn.
At least let's hope not.
Jones is like, not with that attitude.
Right?
You haven't seen me with a cob.
Dude, Jones...
I can cream a cob better than anybody.
I was going to say, Jones actually just likes to husk the corn. Dude, cornbread's
this is a good one.
Elote's a good answer.
A sleeper, which I didn't even think of this, but now that they're saying it, tamales.
Love me a good tamale.
The main dish, masa, or the main ingredient, masa, which is ground up corn. High fructose corn syrup.
That might be the answer. Tacos. Is tacos technically an answer then?
Corn tortillas?
You guys are going to hate me.
It'd have to be street tacos.
You guys are going to hate me. I like flour more than I like corn. I will say it depends on the taco, but for the most part, I like flour more. I know. Believe me. Alex's family, I'm surprised they're even letting me marry their daughter.
Tamale pie. Do you know what? Really good. And if you don't get it, you're a cop. When you go to either Chipotle or Freebirds, the grilled corn salsa.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you got to get corn salsa.
I'm actually a big fan of corn. The only way that I try not to eat it
Fritos?
is the long way. Fritos very good.
Oh, dude, Frito pie. I could mess up some Frito pie.
Dude, absolutely. What's the best corn? Yoda says tamale. He's eating corn the long way. Get the cream.
Robert Jansen, I've actually, you've been to Loro before, right? It's like a Japanese barbecue restaurant here in Dallas. It's really good. But they have corn fritters.
Oh,
amazing.
I think I have been there.
They have all the small dishes that you can get and stuff.
The problem is
Chase loves it.
Loro? I need to see a picture.
Chase.
Alex usually just makes...
Last time you went to Loro?
Oh, dude, yes. I love this place. I live really close to it now.
You said too long.
I know. Yeah, Alex and I go there pretty often now.
Really?
Well, now I'm a little closer to it.
The pork belly there's bomb.
No, Alex's favorite thing is actually the corn fritter thing. Mm-hmm. Very, very good. Wild one, went shopping. Did I make the Zoom call? Wild one, you are in the Zoom call.
Candy corn.
That's the worst. The worst thing out of corn. I would actually rather watch Jones cream that corn than eat candy corn. It's a horrific sight. He just looked at me. He's like, I don't know. Would you?
What the hell?
Yes, well, when you're in Giovanni B.
Oh, that's it. Popcorn.
Josh McDaniel's favorite holiday.
Yeah.
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob.
Only the real ones get that.
Popcorn. Where do you have a weird popcorn take?
I don't. It's a good one. You would like it too. You could blame Trace for that. It's Trace's fault.
No, not that. I was going on your older take. That you whenever you go to the theater, you prefer caramel corn over regular popcorn.
Now, I will say this: if I could only get one, I would get caramel corn. But I also know Alex is going to get the normal popcorn, so I'm not going to get another normal popcorn.
Yeah.
I got to get caramel corn. Though, popcorn, like plain butter popcorn, it's okay. But if you can get it with, like now, like I've had like the cheese element, way better. Or I'll even say this, like Cholula,
which I haven't tried that.
Valentina.
I haven't tried the shredded cheese and the popcorn.
It's very good. It's very good. But like Cholula or Valentina now, like, I actually don't know if I could just eat plain butter popcorn. That's like plain cheese pizza. I need something else. Jalapenos, Valentina and popcorn. I don't know if you ever had that. That's really good. That's really good. Hush Puppies, dude. I love Hush Puppies. Have you ever had a Hush Puppy?
Oh yeah, love some Hush Puppies.
Corn pasta, is that a real thing?
Fluffy, I don't know who Raider Ben is.
Dude, yeah.
Who the fook is that?
It's not a good guy. Let me just say that.
Oh.
It's not a good guy. You don't even have to worry about him. It's not a good guy. So, what was the one I just saw? You remember Pops, that corn cereal?
Corn Pops.
Is it Corn Pops?
Mm-hmm.
On a scale of 1 to 10. Because that was a cereal that
4.
I actually liked.
4.
4?
4.
That's brutal.
See,
that's where I would put like Cheerios.
I would take a ton of cereals over. Wait,
I agree.
That's where you would put Honey Nut Cheerios or normal?
No, Cheerios.
Normal Cheerios, yeah. Normal Cheerios are for babies.
Or people who have bad heart. Or no, cholesterol.
Then you just eat the Honey
I guess I should probably eat Cheerios. Yeah. I have high cholesterol from what I've learned. All right, I got to change my jersey.
Chocolate corn. I don't. Are we just doing anything on corn? Yeah, I mean, top ones have to be corn chips, popcorn, tamales, cornbread. Which actually, I've also had a cornbread cookie before, like you said you had. Very good with like honey butter on it.
I went to this place in the Poconos for breakfast, and if you're ever in the Poconos, don't go. Second, go to this breakfast place called Chat and Chew. Really good breakfast, hole in the wall, like mom and pop shop. I mean, they killed it. But they had this. They had a thick cookie stuffed with like a maple like glazed middle, and on the top was honey butter. Dude, it was unbelievable.
Philip, that's actually one of my favorite breakfast dishes.
What?
Have you ever had chilaquiles?
Oh yeah. Oh. They're really hard. They're really easy to mess up.
I like the green chilaquiles, like the green sauce ones.
Salvador Lucas. Yeah, and reminder.
Oh, we actually do have some super chats.
$20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 for a chance to win some money. The next 5 people that get in.
Oh wait, no, we did.
You're going to join our Zoom call as well tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time if you can make it. Just if you send me that 20 on Venmo, just also send me your email if I don't already have it. That'd be mighty helpful. Though Salvador, I think I already have yours. I just have to look just to make sure. If you could send it again, it would help me out a lot. Again, first 10 people who Venmo me. Not only am I going to be on the call, Zon will be there, but also my dad.
Corn dogs.
Wrong guy.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
I'm the wrong guy.
State Fair corn dogs or like really good corn dogs are amazing.
I will say that I think you were talking about the other day, it was like pancake, like on sausage.
Oh, yeah. The breakfast corn dog.
So, man, I can't tell that story. I'll tell you after.
Do it.
I can't. I can't.
Let's see. That's another sneaky one. Have you ever had the KFC Famous Bowl?
That's with like the mashed potatoes, the corn, the chicken. It's like
all
of it.
The gravy all in it.
So if there's one thing that actually used to upset my mom about fast food, it's that dish. Because when I was a kid, we would eat that all the time.
Oh.
Like my mom would make like mashed potato, like she would do that, and then KFC started selling it, and she was like upset.
Can we make an agreement?
What?
People are wanting to hear the story. If you get in the Zoom call, will you tell the story in the Zoom call?
I can tell it then.
All right. If you want to hear the story, be one of the next 5 people to get in the Zoom call. $20 to get in. You also have a chance to win the 50-50 raffle at the end of today's show, but we can't tell it on here, but on the Zoom call.
I mean, just to be honest with y'all, it's a bachelor party story that deals with that style of food.
You'll have to
can't say it.
You'll hear it on the Zoom call tomorrow. And if you're on the Zoom call, don't let Mitch forget. But dude, yeah, the KFC Famous Bowl.
It's okay to me. I liked it. My problem was my mom made a better one. Like, that's just the God honest truth. It was okay. Yeah.
Your mom made it better.
Well, she made it first. Like growing up, I used to eat that all the time.
Like your mom was just like, hey, I decided to put all the stuff together in a bowl, just mashed potatoes and chicken.
We used to get, when I was a kid, it used to be mashed potatoes. She used to put the dino nuggies and then some shredded cheese on top of it, gravy, put it in the microwave. Corn, yeah. Like everything. There was even like, we do it with like green beans, that was common. Broccoli, common. I'm just saying.
Common Raider.
Shout out to him. Shout out to Common. I'll refresh my phone to see if anybody else is in. Wouldn't you know it, more people want to hear this story. Ryan Bass, you in. And then I got 93 now.
Philip B said, nah, bro. Famous bowl over your mama's goulash.
My mom's never even made goulash.
Goulash.
All right, y'all, we got 500 people in this thing. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. Believe it or not, it does help out Jeremy Chugs and I quite a bit. Coming up next here on the show, we're going to get into some free agent targets for the Silver and Black. I got some top players at each position that we could potentially look at. I know I literally every day, there was one day at the bachelor party, I want to say it would have been, Friday? Yeah, because we went golfing, and I had no reception for like 10 hours. And the entire time I'm wondering, I'm like, did anything happen? Nothing happened while I was gone. Absolutely nothing.
How much would you have freaked out if you just like got back to Wi-Fi and then all of a sudden it was like 500 missed calls, messages?
If at any point I would have been happy that it happened at a bachelor party, like when I took off. I mean, it could be worse. Like, you could be at the gym, your phone could get locked, or you could be on a Sea-Doo. I think those would be the two worst situations to have breaking news happen to you.
Yeah. Imagine you're like on a jet ski.
Yeah, it's like, like that whole scenario, like, have you ever heard of somebody having a bad time on a jet ski? I have. Breaking news, and then you got to go. All right, y'all, let's get into the free agent targets here for the Silver and Black.
We'll talk about Rebels' comment after this.
Rebels' comment after the show? All right. You ready?
Here we go.
Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the show, and coming up on today's Raiders Report episode, I got some updated Raiders free agent targets. We're going to be looking at the top 3 players available at each position for the Silver and Black, and these guys are ranked based on overall talent, how I think they would potentially fit with the Luke Getsy offense, maybe even potentially in a Patrick Graham defense, AP from top to bottom, the entire team, the projected cost, the fit with the Silver and Black. Now, the reason why I'm making this show is because I was at a bachelor party last week, and I told Chugs, if any breaking news happens, if the Raiders end up signing any players, like, you have the ability, like, just go live and let's talk about it. The Raiders did absolutely, positively nothing. So I know a lot of us are kind of sitting around waiting for them to make a move. On top of that, though, one of the players that we have mentioned time and time again on this show retired. Steven Nelson, who I still think was one of the better free agents available out there. He was like 31 years old, coming off a solid season with the Houston Texans. He retired, which now makes that cornerback pool, the overall free agency pool for this team, Telesco, Antonio Pierce, makes it a little bit thinner. So what I wanted to do here is give you an updated look at some of the top players available at each position, which guys I'm going to concentrate a little bit more on, because with Steven Nelson retiring, this makes me wonder what this organization is going to do. You currently have $34.1 million in salary cap space. That's 5th most in the National Football League. You do have 91 guys on your roster. You're allowed to have 91 guys on your roster. And the Raiders are expected to sign at least one guy before training camp. Hell, I look at this team from top to bottom, and I'm thinking 3 moves. And that's literally what I think. I think 3 moves you got to make for this team. I'm hoping it's a corner, edge, and then hopefully nobody goes down with an injury, but maybe an offensive lineman or something along those lines. I'll get into some of these players that I want the Raiders to target, but we're in a battle here at Chat Sports, and I got the Raiders report going up against the 49ers report in a June sub battle. We got the lead right now, but I don't want this June sub battle to turn into a Josh McDaniels football game where we got a good little lead, we're almost at halftime, and then the third quarter we don't show up and we blow it. Yeah, I can't handle that up against the 49ers report. So if you're a Raiders fan and you bleed silver and black, hit that subscribe button. If you are already subbed, tell your friends to, because I'm not losing.
Also, Chase Sr.'s been talking a lot of mess about the new Madden cover.
It's true. Can confirm. All right, let's go to these Raiders free agent targets. I figured I usually start on offense, so we're going to go to the defensive side of the football to get this one going. We're first going to look at the defensive ends. The number one DE that the team should look at and go out and sign, to me, is Emmanuel Ogbah. I'll be quite honest. I think you need Ngakoue, who Maxx Crosby actually mentioned him by name on Tuesday as a player that he thought outworked Max when he was a little bit younger. Jerry Hughes is another name to throw out there. I'll be real. If the Raiders sign any of these guys, I am going to be happy because I do think they give you that extra flexibility to have somebody behind Malcolm Koonce, to have somebody, can just help out Maxx Crosby, Tyree Wilson a little bit on the edge. So one of these three players, Emmanuel Ogbah, though, clearly number one to me. Let's go to defensive tackle. And speaking of clearly number one, there's really only one player on this list that I think that the Raiders would legitimately try to sign, and it's not going to be Linval Joseph. It's not going to be Mike Purcell. His name is Calais Campbell. I know he's 38 years old. He's still playing at an extremely high level at age 38. And when you look at John Jenkins, Adam Butler, I really think the only spot that you're going to find somebody that's going to give you legitimate reps is Calais. So he makes the list here. Let's now go to the linebacker position, because this one I had to, I was going to say finagle. I don't even know if I've ever even used that word on this show. I had to mess around with it a little bit because Zach Cunningham is the only linebacker that's a free agent that I do think would be able to help out our linebacker room. For Marcus Golden and Tyus Bowser, some people might consider them linebackers. Other people might consider them edges. For this team, I would say that they could play a little bit of a hybrid role, but Golden's got connections with Patrick Graham. Tyus Bowser's got some connections with Rob Ryan. So due to those connections, I could see them potentially helping out at the linebacker spot. Corner, and this is why I wanted to make this show, because of what has happened while I was away at my bachelor party, or not my bachelor, my buddy's bachelor party, and I wanted to talk about this topic because not only did Steven Nelson retire, which the Raiders, and I think a lot of Raider fans watching the show are like, yeah, I want the Raiders to sign a corner. If you agree with that, like the video, because Steven Nelson retired. I'm like, all right. And then some news popped up, at least a rumor going on around Xavien Howard that said, allegedly, he texted a boy sexual photos of his mother per court filings. Former Dolphins cornerback Xavien Howard sent a boy sexually explicit content of his mother because she refused to get an abortion, a new court filing alleges. Howard is a free agent. Some people might read that and say, Mitch, I just want you to talk about football, but I do think one of the things that Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, and maybe I'm crazy for saying this, I want good people on this Raiders football team. What the Raiders have been juggling in the past few off seasons, off the field crap, I don't want to deal with any off the field bullshit. Point blank, period. And I have been someone on this show yelling from the rooftops, go get Xavien Howard, go bring him in here. Let's be real, this is weird behavior. There is never a situation where this is okay. This is not somebody that I want on my football team. With that being said, if I am Tom Telesco, if I am Antonio Pierce, my job is to put the best team on the field. My job here as a Raiders Report host is to tell you that there was a time where I said Xavien Howard is the number one free agent target that the Raiders should pursue. Here's my idea. It's not the same anymore. Now it's Stephon Gilmore. To me, Gilmore is the number one guy because that's the tiebreaker to me. I don't got to deal with bullshit with Stephon Gilmore. That's the tiebreaker, number one. So get down in the comments. And I had multiple people, and I mean multiple people, are like, Mitch, Raiders can't sign Xavien Howard anymore. Give me a yes. Give me a no. What are you thinking? Should the Raiders still bring Howard to the silver and black? I'm going to say this. Do I want the Raiders to still bring Xavien Howard? Yes, if they can't get Stephon Gilmore. It is it's a seesaw of a battle that I'm going to play with this debate here a little bit. But I do want the Raiders to win. I want them to be able to go out there and just win, baby. I'll also say there are currently people in the NFL that have done much worse. than what we just heard there, which maybe isn't the best reason for him to put my argument of why they should bring him in. But my argument now of Xavien Howard being the number one corner, the number one player that the Raiders should pick up in free agency, that tie now goes to Stephon Gilmore. That's who I want the Raiders to go out and get. If you told me, though, it's either Xavien Howard or we don't add any talent at all to our cornerback room, I'm an honest man. I will tell you, I will still want Xavien Howard. Let's go now to the safety position here for the Silver and Black. And the Raiders safety room is one of the more solid units that I don't think people truly understand how deep this team actually is. Merrick and Epps is one of the better safety duos in the league. And then with Isaiah Paulomeo, solid player there. Trey Taylor, found out he doesn't wear socks on an Instagram live video, which I had some fun. He doesn't wear socks. I know. Dude, it's kind of wild. No socks. On top of that, then, safety, what else? The player that I want the Raiders, I thought of socks. David Zahn probably is loving it, but the only safety that I think legitimately the Raiders will go out and add is Justin Simmons. And I will admit, if the Raiders signed a safety, I do think it would be strange because both Epps and Merrick are younger than everybody on this list besides Simmons, at least Merrick is. I would rather them give those two guys a contract extension, keep that safety group together, a unit that's 29 and 25 years old, and Merrick and Epps. And then after that, you got some of these younger players to develop on top of that. Though, if you add Justin Simmons to your team, he's honestly the best free agent available, and I think it'd be kind of stupid to say no to that. So coming up next here, we're going to get into the Raiders free agent targets on the offensive side of the football, which we're going to bring up the quarterbacks. I think you guys are going to like my answer, though, what I have to say about some of the QBs. There is a certain group, though, that I do think is a little bit more important than what people might recognize, and that's the offensive line group. We'll talk about them in a second. Before I want to break down who the top free agent targets are for Telesco and AP in the Silver and Black, if you don't know our Madden schedule, since I've been away for a little bit, Raiders are 4-1. I know, insane, 4-game winning streak. Week 6 up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be on Thursday, June 13th. Then Week 7 at the Rams. That's going to be June 14th. So put that into your calendar. If you enjoy what we do on game days, I think you're also going to have a lot of fun with us when we go live for Madden. Some people say, Mitch, you do realize that it's just a Madden game. It is just a Madden game. But you know what? I also like to look at this as my practice reps, and we have fun doing it. It is June after all, and that's part of being a content creator, is it not? All right, let's go to the quarterback room here for the Raiders free agent targets. And here's the thing. I wanted to just do this part of the show to illustrate to people that, and I'm even somebody that sits up here and says, the Raiders don't have a good quarterback room. We don't have the worst one in the NFL, but I do think that you're bottom 5 with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. And even with that being said, these are your 3 best quarterbacks in the free agent market. If somebody wants to argue about this, go for it. I mean, Ryan Tannehill is clearly the best. Then it's Trevor Siemian, A.J. McCarron, cool. The Raiders should not sign a single free agent QB. Like, even if you're not 100% sold, even if you're not 50% sold on AOC and Gardner, what are you going to do? Pay Ryan Tannehill $15 million per year to just have another quarterback battle? The old saying is if you have 2 QBs, you don't have any. But what's the saying if you have 3 quarterbacks? I can't even get down a rabbit hole of that. So no quarterbacks. Raiders don't need any. I think we're pretty good in that regard. Let's go now to the running back position here for the Silver and Black. And I like Zamir White. Dylan Laube continues to impress at OTAs. But I do think if you're going to do this, you're not going to spend a lot of money. Like, there's not a situation where I am going to put Dalvin Cook on this list, who probably is the best back name value-wise. But, like, he's also going to be the dude that costs the most money, which is why he's number 3. The best all-around running back, I'd say maybe is Cam Akers. But to me, the one that they might be the most interested in signing is Joshua Kelly, who's got some ties to Telesco, who was a part of the Chargers last offseason. Let's go to the wide receiver room now, which is probably one of our deepest spots as well, depending how often you're going to put Brock Bowers in at slot. I anticipate that he plays more at slot than he does at true tight end. From a receiver standpoint, though, this is also a very difficult list that I tried to throw together, but we did it. Number 1 name, I'm going to put Jamal Agnew, and that is 100% solely for special teams value and special teams alone. Like, if the Raiders are a little bit unconfident about their kick returning, punt return game, Agnew's the guy that I'd call. Randall Cobb, just because of his past experiences with Luke Getsy, I actually thought that maybe Cobb could be somebody that they add instead of a dude like I don't know, Michael Gallup. If Gallup proves to be unhealthy, keep an eye out for Cobb. And then Russell Gage has actually put up some halfway decent numbers over the past 3 seasons. So if you need an extra receiver, he'd be somebody. Out of all 3 of these names, though, Gage, I would imagine, would be the most expensive. Let's go to tight end room now. The tight end room is solid. Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Harrison Bryant. I'm not afraid to say that I do think the Raiders have a top 3 tight end room in the National Football League. To me, though, the 3 names that you're going to see are not going to be all inspiring. Jeff Swain has some connections with Luke Steichel, the Raiders tight ends coach, who was also tight end / offensive line coach for Tennessee when Swain was there, so that's why he's number 1 here. Blake Bell's only number 2 because he was a former Chief, and quite frankly, I would sign a former Chief for a month just to get maybe an extra competitive advantage over it. And then Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham also has been a part of Luke Getsy offenses from times when he was with the Green Bay Packers and then also with the Chicago Bears. Let's now go to the important spot, though. It's the offensive line. And I do think that this is a position group that needs a little bit more attention just because of some injury scares that have happened. Like Kolton Miller still battling a little bit of a shoulder injury, which is why you're going to see Charles Leno and you're also going to see David Bakhtiari on this list. I have Connor Williams at number 1. He's got some injury concerns, but he is still, if he was 100% healthy, he'd be clearly the best offensive lineman on this group. Luckily, Jackson Powers-Johnson practiced on Tuesday for the Silver and Black, and I'm not as scared as this interior offensive line. But for Charles Leno, left tackle, David Bakhtiari, he's got some ties with Luke Getsy. If for whatever reason Kolton Miller isn't 100% healthy, and then you also have Andres Pete, who's dealt with a lot of injuries throughout his history, just some offensive linemen to go out there and keep in mind. I know that the way I usually do free agent target videos are I go top 10, and I break down a little bit more in depth of why each guy is why. I wanted to do something a little bit different today, so I'm going to be honest with y'all. If you made it this far in the video, let me know if you like this style of me going through top 3 players at each position, or you're like, Mitch, just give me that top 10 list. This is a show predicated on the back of the nation. So if the Raiders can sign one NFL free agent, I threw out, 30 names at you. Who should it be and why? What I wanted to end up doing is, even though I threw out all those names, I still wanted to be able to give you my top 5 list of all those names of who I would want to go out and get. Stephon Gilmore is number 1. Xavien Howard is still number 2 to me, and I know he's got that shit going on right now. Justin Simmons, Emmanuel Ogbah, Adoree Jackson. If you agree with me, hey, take a screenshot of this list, send it out there. You got $34.1 million. My objective of this show, my objective as a Raider fan is, yes, to have a good time with y'all, but also give my opinion, which hopefully would lead to a few extra wins. Telesco AP, you got the money. Let's sign 1, 2. Shit, I'd be happy for 3 of those names right there. For more updates around the Raiders, more videos, more content, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365 on social media. I post pictures of Chuck if you want to see some pictures of my dog. If you want to see a hilarious picture of Jeremy at the Christmas party, give him a follow at Jeremy Chugs. Very good. We also have a Chat Sports Company outing on Thursday. Might be some pictures from that. Bottom line, I want people not only watch us on YouTube, but I do appreciate when people follow us on social media because it helps me get to know y'all. It also helps you get to know us a little bit better, which makes the show more fun. Best combo with chocolate. National German Chocolate Cake Day.
That's a German chocolate. That's a coconut chocolate.
Correct.
What is your best combo with chocolate? Might be an unpopular one. I love banana and chocolate.
I don't know if it's it's good.
Chocolate banana shake is great. You know what? Me and Danny, you and Alex.
My answer is going to be chalk. What's your favorite thing with chocolate? Chalk. No, mine's going to be peanut butter. Even when I said that and you looked at me, you're like, wait a minute.
I'm going to go
What kind of bachelor party did you go to?
What color chalk? Something you need to try with Alex. Get your favorite chocolate bar. Mm-hmm. And especially because this is the perfect time to do it. Me and Danny did it whenever I went to Oklahoma. You get your favorite chocolate bar and you leave it out in the sun for an hour. And then, just on a paper plate.
Okay.
And then you open it up and you get whatever fruit you want and you just dip it in it and it's like chocolate fondue.
That sounds really good. See, this might be my unpopular opinion.
Oh,
I actually don't really like fruit and chocolate together because I think that chocolate is so much sweeter than fruit that I like it.
Chocolate-covered strawberries.
I like them, but to be honest with you, I'd probably actually rather just eat now I'm obsessed with tahini now that I've found that. I would just rather eat a chocolate bar and then fruit with tahini on it.
Okay.
Like any fruit, I like fruit with tahini more than I like fruit with chocolate.
Some of the answers we have in here, pretzels, that's a really good answer. Chocolate-covered pretzels is great. Chocolate-covered bacon. I have almonds.
S'mores.
Any fruit. I have vanilla ice cream. Ooh, vanilla ice cream. Like a hot fudge sundae.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's
mint, which that's very polarizing. I feel like mint and chocolate, you either hate it or love it.
Love it. Love it, love it,
So,
love it. Those little candies.
I love it. The one thing, though, I hate, though, is if you have a chocolate bar that isn't mint, like just a normal chocolate bar, and it's like with other mint stuff, I feel like the flavor gets on it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
I feel like mint is such an overpowering flavor, and this might be a weird thing to say, mouthfeel, that it takes away from other flavors of things. So if I eat something mint, I actually usually just like to try to keep it mint.
Yeah.
Like chocolate and mint, whatever that random candy bar is that you get after visiting some fancy restaurants, that's
Olive Garden.
I mean, I love that you brought that up. So yesterday, Alex and I had to do something for our wedding, and being back in the Poconos and the central Pennsylvania area, you miss it, but then you're also I'm kind of happy I got away from it a little bit. And Alex is how would you describe describe food? How would you describe yourself? And I said to I am fancy Olive Garden, which people in my hometown are what do you mean fancy Olive Garden? That's just Olive Garden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to Olive Garden on a date, there is a very high hit rate that the ultimate breadsticks are going to continue into the night.
Very polarizing video that's on TikTok right now. Guy took this girl to Starbucks for a first date, and she was totally roasting him.
Yes.
Totally roasting him, and he was like, "I'm taking you home."
Yep. No Santana, you or
Allie
in.
Best combo with chocolate. Salami. There we go.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot that joke until this moment.
Something that I haven't seen in here, which is very interesting, caramel. Chocolate and caramel together.
No,
I love that's a great mix.
I agree with that. Now, here's my next question to that. What type of caramel are we working with? Because I actually don't like the hard.
Oh, I love Heath Bar.
See, that's toffee. I like toffee. I'm saying I want the caramel almost to be melting. Mm-hmm. Where some people like caramel where there's those caramel chews and you just have to let them sit in your mouth for 5 minutes. I don't want that.
Somebody said cannoli?
Yeah, I mean, cannoli I'm in. Cannoli I'm in.
Oh.
An egg roll and chocolate?
I didn't even think about this one.
What?
French fries.
And chocolate.
Like a chocolate shake. Like Wendy's fries and a chocolate frost. You don't like that?
It's not even top 100.
Oh my God, dude. Wendy's Frosty with fries?
Sure, I'm not a fry guy, but it's to pair with chocolate.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Wendy's fries is not top 100.
Wendy's fries with the chocolate
100.
Frosty is definitely top 100.
Pretzels are good. It's not top 100.
I agree with Nada.
What? No. I mean, it's probably good. I will say this. I've had Ruffles chips in chocolate. That's really good.
Oh, a good chocolate chip cookie. Cookie.
That's hard to beat.
Which
that's actually probably my answer.
So
a good chocolate chip cookie.
The cookie place I always tell you about, the
Cookie Society.
They came out with a new cookie of the month. This month they have 4 of them. One of them is boneless chocolate chip cookies, which is just chocolate chip cookies without the chocolate chips. So it's
Just the cookie.
Just the cookie, but no chocolate chips.
I don't like it.
And Danny is so pumped about it. She's like, that sounds so good. And I said, that sounds like the opposite. That sounds bad.
That sounds like I'll have pizza, hold the cheese and sauce.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's what I said. I was like, that sounds good to you? And she was like, oh, that sounds amazing. Chocolate chip cookies without the chocolate. I was like, that's the best part.
I guess she gets enough sweetness from you. I don't know. All right, I got to switch my jersey. I got to switch my jersey. I'll be right back. Though the jersey I have next, it's going to blow some people's minds.
Nico, that's what I said. That sounds ridiculous. And they're calling it boneless chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, it's just a brown sugar cookie. I don't get it. Like, the best part of a chocolate chip cookie is the chocolate whenever you, like, break it open and it's like the oozy chocolate. Oh.
If you take away chocolate chips from a chocolate chip cookie, what Danny's excited about, that's not even a top 50 cookie. It's not.
No.
It's not.
Well, and it's like, okay, do you like sugar cookies?
With, like, that frosting on top? Yes.
Just plain sugar cookie.
I'm not getting a plain sugar cookie. I can't do it.
Plain sugar cookie with sprinkles on top.
With frosting?
No,
Yes.
just sprinkles.
No. I'm not doing it. With just sprinkles? No.
Somebody just said you described bread.
It's true.
Sweet bread.
Oh, man. I mean, I will say this now. You know, we got a lot of Mexican people who watch this show. Like, Alex and her family, they love conchas. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Mm-hmm. It's like bread, and they have the sugary crust on the top, and they
sugary crust. I mean, they treat those conchas like a donut. Like, when her mom, like, sometimes when they eat them, they're like, that's sweet. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, that's like eating a Hawaiian roll. You know what I mean? That's like eating a Hawaiian roll, and you're just being like, man, that's too much.
Maybe you haven't had the right concha. Dude,
they're just not sweet. Like, they're not sweet.
So, if you ever go, which I don't know why you would ever go, but if you ever find yourself in San Antonio, which might be a fun, maybe a fun, like, weekend getaway for you and Alex, if y'all ever just like, oh, weekend, like, I want to go, I would definitely recommend, which you don't like driving, but
driving. I
would recommend going down to San Antonio for a weekend. They have a great Mexican bakery. They had a concha that was really good.
Interesting. I mean, we've talked about it. Alex went to UTSA for
a little
while. Yeah.
Did she like it in San Antonio?
Did not. So that's why.
Probably won't be going to San Antonio.
No, I think.
Have you ever been to the Alamo?
Nope. The movie theater, yes.
No, the actual Alamo.
No. We already have our next trip planned. So.
Where are y'all going?
Broken Bow.
I convinced you.
Kinda, yeah. My mom wants to come down, so I think we might go to Broken Bow. She would enjoy it, and we've been like flirting with the idea of going for a little, and now we have the opportunity, I think. So we were kind of like, oh yeah, we should do it. I think we're gonna go to Broken Bow.
Got to check it out.
Yeah.
Got to check it out.
Team Ultra Speed, Noah Santana, you in, which means we only have one more opening for our Zoom call tomorrow.
I know this doesn't mean anything to you.
Okay.
But they have the best corn dog stand I've ever been to in my life there.
Which place? Broken Bow?
Broken Bow. It's better than the State Fair corn dogs.
See, Alex would be fired up about that.
Oh, it's literally whenever you go, it's down that main street.
Yeah.
You go down, and it's literally a place, and it has a sign that's a corn dog, and it just says corn dogs. And it is, so I didn't know this. Apparently,
you know what we should do? We should open up a stand next to it that just says Jackie and just sell anything.
But I didn't know this. I talked with the owner of the place because we've been a couple of times, and I told him, I was like, yeah, we love your corn dogs. Danny's favorite corn dog. And he told me, apparently in America, they have a ranking of the top 100 corn dog stands in the nation. It's number 15.
Really?
Yeah. He said he got 15th out of the top 100 corn dog stands in the nation.
I wonder how they do that. Yeah. Speaking of corn dogs, did you guys hear today that Chestnut got banned from the hot dog eating contest?
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut got banned from the hot dog eating contest.
Because he went woke.
Did he?
he's doing plant-based meat. He has a sponsor.
I don't understand how that's even physically possible for them.
Well, it's because he's taking a sponsor of a direct competitor of Nathan's Hot Dogs.
Here's the thing. Nathan's should rename their hot dog eating competition Joey's. Like how are you going to kick somebody out that has made your viewing thing more popular than anybody else ever? Nobody's going to watch it this year.
K-Smooth says, wait. Someone has a job going around the world trying corn dogs?
Probably.
I think I found my next calling.
Probably. So, Chugs and I were talking about it today, doing the 50 McNugget challenge.
There's
Wendy's.
ice cream testers. There's people who just taste test food.
I mean, when we, if you've ever been to Boston, you got to go to the Samuel Adams Brewery tour. It's free to go to.
From Boston.
It's free to go to. And then the time that I was there, one of their beer testers talked to us, and he's like, yeah, I've been testing beer here at Samuel Adams. And he's like, this is my favorite. And somebody's like, question was like, how long you been doing? He's like, honestly, I don't even remember at this point. Maybe like 40-something years. And I'm like, you've been a beer tester for 40 years? And like the other person was for 30 years. The other person was it for like 28. And the person giving us our tour like made a joke. They're like, it's hard to believe in that job line, there's not a lot of turnover. Like,
yeah. It's like, man, I had a rough day. Can you imagine coming home? I had a really rough day at work.
I mean, there's some days on this show I feel like I had a really rough day at the Samuel Adams Brewery. Like, there's some days I do. There's some days you guys make me feel like Samuel Adams himself.
Yeah, Mr. Adams. Rebel Montana, the lemon challenge is open. Waller retires, we win.
Have you seen this lemon challenge that he wants us to do?
The one where he ate a full lemon or something? Or
you basically eat a lemon. I don't think I could do it. I actually don't. I'm really bad with sour food, which doesn't help that thing that you just got.
Yeah.
That's going to be... We have a game probably Thursday or Friday. We'll break it out. Maybe Friday. Thursday, we have a company outing, so I don't want to get too weird for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild one. Sanjeev believes the Raiders will use most of their free money to extend current player contracts over signing free agents. What is your opinion on this? I probably agree with him on that statement just because you got to pay... You could potentially pay Marcus Epps, Trevon Merrick, Nate Hobbs, Robert Spillane, Malcolm Koonce. I did a video on 5 players that I thought could get extended. It's also, if you're saying the amount of money, the Raiders have $34.1 million to spend on whatever they want. The amount of money that it would cost to sign an Xavien Howard, a Stephon Gilmore, and Emmanuel Ogbah, Gilmore out of that group still might be the one that is approaching $10 million per year. But out of a lot of those other names that I just mentioned, I would say every single one of those contract extensions on a per-year basis, none of those are under 6.5, right? Like, so the fact that if the Raiders want to extend maybe 2 to 3 players, which I definitely think they extend 2, maybe they try to do a third, that money that it's going to require to do, that is going to be more than 34.1. Like, I don't think they're going to empty 34.1 in the free agency. So I do agree with what Sanjeet's saying there. Ultra VAB, I've been MIA, but I'm back, nation. Raiders! Ultra VAB, what's up, my brother? What is up, my dude? Do you think it'd be easier to eat an entire lemon or a lime?
A lime.
Yeah?
Dude, hot take, in like my drinks, I'm lime over lemon.
I agree.
Like water, give me a lime. Beer, give me a lime.
Yep.
Well, obviously beer, but sweet, like tea, like unsweet tea or sweet tea, I like lime over lemon.
That one I don't know. To be honest, I actually don't know if I've ever had a lime in my
Do
tea.
it. Get unsweet tea with lime, great.
I guess it makes sense. It checks out.
I just feel like lime goes better with like drinks more than lemon sometimes.
Yeah. I've eaten more limes in the last 4 years of me dating Alex than I have my entire life.
We're still talking about?
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hate when it gets in your eye.
Ed Robbins.
Welcome back, Mitch. You look very thirsty. Ed, I'm okay right now. I know this. I don't want to drink today, and I mean it. Like, This might surprise y'all.
Oh, shit. Your jersey has 3 numbers.
Oh, yeah. Well, his YouTube name is Raider831. So, we figured it out. We figured it out, man. Is Raider831 here? I don't know. But I'm guessing this is his area code. I started drinking on Wednesday, and, you get ready for your buddy's bachelor party. I also, knew I haven't seen some of my friends in a long time. What got me, though, on Wednesday is my flights got delayed. So I'm sitting at the airport, and, I had, a beer. I had one Blue Moon, ripped through a few of those, and then Thursday's a heavy day, Friday's a heavy day, Saturday's a heavy day. Sunday, my flight also gets delayed about 8 hours, so I was at the airport. Went through.
That Stone Cold Steve Austin soundbite where he's like, I had 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers, 5 beers.
I mean, my roommate from college on Saturday drank a 30-rack by himself. That's disgusting. That's how I felt. I felt like I was 20 years. I honestly felt like I was just Trace. That's how I felt this weekend. Dude. I can't drink today. I'm telling you right now, I can't drink today.
Dude.
Thursday, Friday, we can get after it Thursday and Friday. I have my next trip planning. It's Dallas.
Hey,
let me know, Wild One. Evil Chugs, eat some stuffed poblanos. They are yummy.
Love a, what is it called whenever it's fried? It's like a...
I don't know. I do love poblanos, though. Are poblanos the one that's one out of every random one? It's spicy. It's also a green pepper, right? Poblanos?
Yeah. What is it?
It looks like a jalapeno.
Chili rellenos. Have you ever had chili rellenos?
It sounds like an endangered species
so
of
what
the
you do
rhino.
is you get a poblano pepper, and then you char the outside of it.
Okay.
So it's kind of softens up. Mm-hmm. Then you kind of take the black charred part off of it. Yep. You stuff it with cheese and meat or whatever you want inside of it, and then you dip it in a batter and you fry it. So it's like a fried pepper with cheese and meat and stuff inside of it. And then they top it usually with a sauce.
Like a crema. Dude, that sounds like the better version of a stuffed pepper. I mean, that's just...
Love some chili rellenos.
That sounds really good. I might actually have to try to do that.
Dude,
one of my favorite things to make with my air fryer, you'd like this too, is it's a Philly cheesesteak, but instead of using bread, you just take the inside out of a pepper. So you make the Philly cheesesteak inside of the pepper. I kind of want to just do that and then just dunk it, whatever the hell you just said, and then fry that sucker.
Bro, you got to, at some point, just DoorDash some, whatever Mexican food restaurant you want to, some chili rellenos.
Yeah.
Very good.
Rock and Jock, what up, my man? No chocolate chip cookie is serial killer vibes.
Yeah.
If you told me right now, I would actually rather you order a grilled cheese and say, I don't want any cheese on it.
Toast.
Than for you to say, can I get chocolate chip cookies? Hold the chocolate chips. That's crazy to me.
I saw something, and this would actually make you freak out I feel like if you saw this in person. But I was listening to an interview on TikTok of Meghan Trainor, who, if you don't know who that is, she's the one who sings, "It's all about that bass, no treble."
I think I've heard it.
Yeah. But funny enough, she's married to the Spy Kids kid. The boy from Spy Kids, she's married to.
No way.
Yes. Are you looking it up? Do you see it?
Yeah, he's the guy that owns the pizza place.
Yes. So
I'm just kidding. I have no idea. His last name's Sabara.
But she's married to the former Spy Kids kid, and she was on an interview talking about him and what's something weird about your husband? And she goes, he hates sauces. Will not dip anything in sauce. She went so far to say he eats his salads dry.
That's nuts.
He'll have a full salad, no dressing. It's just lettuce, meat, cheese, whatever veggies he wants on it, no dressing. Not even olive oil, nothing to damp the lettuce, anything. No lemon juice, no anything, just dry.
This guy's powering through. That's, I don't even get how that's possible.
He said eats chicken tenders and fries, dry, no sauce. Burgers, dry. no sauce.
I actually don't know how that's possible. That might be the worst food take I've ever heard.
He said he doesn't like sauces.
I think I would
said
rather give up.
He said he wouldn't even try, or she said he wouldn't even try soy sauce with sushi. Like, he eats his sushi, like, which that isn't that weird, but like, soy sauce is like a pretty mild sauce. It's just salt.
I don't care what it is. So I mean, you can't give me anything food related and you say it's not good. What does he not like spaghetti?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take the spaghetti, just no sauce on it. That's worse. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
I was listening and I was like, Mitch would hate this.
Does he eat cereal?
Is milk a sauce?
It's kind of the same concept. That's the guy eating a bowl of nails for breakfast and still going to Super Weenie Hut General. Like, dude, you're no sauce. I'm a big sauce guy. Chugs makes fun of me all the time. I'm the dude where it's like the messier like I don't use a lot of sauce here. I don't. When I eat at home,
if you don't use a lot of sauce here, I don't want to see what you do at home, because Mitch is the kind of guy which, if he had a plate of chicken tenders and fries, he would have another plate of just different sauces that he could dip his chicken tenders and fries into.
You got to mix it up. Like if you're
and they're not separate. They're not separate. He has the sauces all on the plate and they're touching.
Yeah.
Like he'll have his ranch touching his ketchup, touching his barbecue.
Because then that's a ranch dip, that's a ketchup dip, and that's a ranch ketchup dip.
Barbecue ranch.
That's 3 sauces the way I look at it. 1 plus 1 can equal 3. It can equal 3. All right, let's get into this final segment here.
Imagine eating barbecue and you're
on the show.
Actually, no, that's actually a lot of people eat barbecue
like
without
a good
the sauce.
steak, good barbecue, that I can get. But think of, a salad with no dressing is insanity.
Can you imagine? Can I have the Caesar with no dressing?
I don't think I would serve him. You got to cut this guy off.
Sir, you need to leave.
How do you eat anything? You literally can't eat anything. It's an honest question. No sauce.
I don't know if it pertains to pasta and pizza. Maybe it's just condiments.
It's got to be. There's just no way.
But then again, it's like salad with no dressing I feel like it's the same thing like you said with like pizza with no sauce.
I would love to know where he stands on a peanut butter and jelly. It's just genuinely. Is that a sauce?
Maybe we can find him on Cameo and ask him.
I can't ask this guy. That's crazy. Spy Kids, dude. That's what it'll do to you.
I know you're famous and everything. I just care about your food take.
I do. I don't care. Ventrack. Seeing reports the Raiders are going to save the cap money for in-season needs, extensions, and rollover, so maybe no big vet signing. I still think that the Raiders end up signing at least one. I said if it was up to me, I would sign 2 or 3, but then I can see the Raiders potentially, because the one thing that I do want to see how teams handle it, it's that extra week for the NFL trade deadline where that I do think is going to impact some teams being able to be a little bit more aggressive with their money. The rollover part of it, I get that part too, because you got Davante Adams. He's making $44.5 million against the cap next season, so that's a lot of money. And then we just mentioned the amount of players that you could give a contract extension to, which this offseason, it's Merrick, Kuntz, Spillane, Epps, Hobbs. Next offseason, you got to worry about a guy like Jack Jones, who they try to probably bring back. I'll also say this, which is something that, you guys probably aren't going to like to hear, but if you're the Raiders and you're looking at your quarterback room and you're planning on being a team that's legitimately going to win more than 8 games, and you got a Super Bowl caliber winning roster minus your QB, what if that money's for a quarterback next offseason? Could be something to think about. Ira, what's up, my man? Bet 5 would make you drink. Bet 5 would make you drink. Am I missing something here? Bet 5. Ira, did somebody bet you and made you drink? I don't know. Ira, what do you want, man? What's the deal here we're looking at?
What do you want from me?
Dun, 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 dun.
Last segment coming up in just a moment, but
Yep.
Mitch, how are all the spots filled?
No, we actually have one spot remaining. So today, the first 10 people who Venmo me $20 are going to be in our Zoom call tomorrow
You said
at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
You said 5 bangs. You said bet 5 bangs would make you drink.
Dude. Today, oh man, I don't know, dude. Today would be a tough day for me to rally and drink. I'm not going to lie. I will admit there's only one way to find out, but right now it would be tough. Today would be a struggle.
Oh my God.
What? Today would be a struggle.
Raider Josh
Bang! Well,
Raiders! Hot take, if Gallup or Guyton don't work out, take back Renfro on a cheap deal. Tay, Tucker, Myers, Renfro, and our tight ends. Just imagine it.
You're not-
FKC, FLAC, F your team.
you're probably not going to like my take on this, but I don't really want Hunter Renfro. Renfro's been really bad the last 2 seasons. I get it. He's got put into a bad situation with McDaniels, but like he's not only when he's been on the field, he hasn't been good. He hasn't been reliable. He's had some drop issues. He's had some concussions thrown into that. Like, to me, if I'm the Raiders, I'm not going to bring back Hunter Renfro unless it's legitimately at a vet minimum deal.
I think also he just needs a change of scenery. I don't think he would be good coming back to the Raiders. I think he needs to go to another team.
I agree with you. Like, if I'm Renfro, he should go to another team that wants to not. The Raiders want to play physical football, right? Like, they want to run 12 personnel. They want to run a system that I think it's like, in the defensive coordinator's mind, every time that they're getting ready to call hike, if you're the DC going up against the Raiders, you don't know if they're going to run the football. You don't know if they're going to pass it. Like, they want to go with this mysterious 12 personnel of, hey, we could beat you up in any type of formation. If Renfro is on the field, sure, like, they're still going to run the football to mix it up a little bit, but, like, he's by far going to be your worst run blocker. He's by far going to be your worst blocker in general. You're probably going to want to try to run away from him. Like, I just don't think for what the Raiders are trying to create and do, it makes any sense to sign Hunter Renfro. Like, Renfro is always going to be a player that I love and respect. He's always going to be a guy that I'm going to root for no matter where he goes. But we can't just say, oh, I want Renfro because Renfro is not the Renfro that we fell in love with a few years ago. He's been very bad the last 2 seasons, and I don't think he's a fit for what we're trying to do now. Like, I'd be excited about it, but
low-key, do you know where I think if Renfro wants to have his best year, holy shit. I'll finish saying this in just a second. For Renfro to have his best year, I think he has to go to the Dallas Cowboys because I think that offense fits him better. I think Dak Prescott worked really well with Cole Beasley, and he could be a type of player that's similar to that in that offense.
I think even a team like Josh Allen and the Bills, a team where you know that he's going to get force-fed some targets. And you know what? I might be getting force-fed here. Ira Jackson! Bang!
Bang! Bang!
Ira! Bang! What the hell, man? What the hell? How does that just happen?
What the hell even is that?
How?
Daddy, chill.
Seriously. What the fuck? What? Dude. Ira, just send me your email. How about that? Dude, what? What is happening today?
Oh, my goodness.
We have one more segment, Ira.
You know what?
Ira Jackson Bang. Are you kidding me? All right, let me go get some water. Let me go get some water. Ira Jackson. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Give some shout outs.
Ira. 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 Dude's an absolute animal. An absolute animal. I talked to Ira last week. He's one of the best dudes you could ever talk to. He had his mother, was it your mother's birthday, Ira, last week? Great son. He planted her a new garden and mowed her lawn and did all of that stuff. So, for her. So, Ira, all around good dude, all around crazy SOB. Crazy dude. Trey said, where are y'all at in Super Chats? We have a Super Chat battle brewing. Maybe a Super Chat battle brewing. I don't know. We do not. He said, Rebel said he was on fire on a graph stream.
Who? Rebel or Ira?
Ira.
Yeah, I've heard Ira's name travel through the Raiders Report realm. Ira, you're a crazy guy, and I'm not. This is it, Ira. Cheers to you. You guys would literally do this every day, I think. If I went live every day and just blacked out with y'all every day, I think you guys would do it. I'm not kidding you. I think you would.
I was just saying, I talked to Ira last week. Amazing guy. I know you've talked to Ira multiple times.
Ooh.
I believe it was his mom's birthday last week. Listen to what he did for his mom. He planted her an entire new garden and mowed and edged her entire yard for her birthday.
That's a win. You know,
after work.
After work?
I mean, dude's an absolute animal. You planted your mom an entire new garden, did all of her yard work and everything.
It's a good guy.
Good dude.
Now, I will say, some people really enjoy doing it. They also know that they're good at it. But after work, man, there's some days I get done working. I don't
want to do the dishes.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like,
if Alex was like, hey, I need you to edge my bushes, I'd say maybe. Plant a whole new garden, though? I don't know about that.
Well, after this segment, we might have a Super Chat battle, but we'll see. Trace is trying to catch up.
What do you mean?
Trace is trying to catch up to us right now.
There's no way.
He said, where are y'all at? I told him. He's not close to us right now. But
come on, man.
He said, his last message was, y'all are so going down.
Trace?
Yes.
Is he somehow already in week 17 of his Madden sim? I don't think we are, though. I'm going to be honest. I don't think we're going to go down. Can't walk. Debate is a hot dog, a sandwich. So here's actually oh my gosh. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I'm going to need you to check your phone, Mitch.
You already know what it is. So here's a question. Here's my question to all of y'all. Who's the one person in the world that you would take is a hot dog a sandwich question seriously from? He just got banned from the hot dog eating contest. The link that I just put in the chat for all of y'all, we actually interviewed Joey Chestnut 5 years ago here at Chat Sports, and we asked him that question. So if you want to see his answer to is a hot dog a sandwich, that link is available to y'all.
And I think whatever he says should go.
I agree. Because I actually have a very firm take on this. I'll let you guys see what Joey had to say.
Okay. Is this correct?
Yep. This one's rolling in from Ira Jackson. Ira Jackson. Ira, you're a crazy Crazy SOB, I want you to know that. Crazy SOB from Ira Jackson.
All I can think about is with the guy who I told you who doesn't eat sauce, do you think he eats plain hot dog? Like that is the worst sounding thing to me. Like if you eat a hot dog plain, like I like hot dogs, but it has to have condiments. You have to have ketchup or mustard or something. Chili cheese, I don't know. You have to have something on the hot dog. I don't think I could ever eat a plain sausage or hot dog on bread with nothing on it.
That sounds disgusting. Like to me, that's almost my biggest food fear. What you just mentioned. That I can't do.
Plain hot dog, nothing on it.
If you're eating a plain hot dog with a bun, you might as well just put a condom on it.
Tevin said, imagine eating a stick of pork.
See, I think it's different, man. I don't know. You're telling me right now, like the thought of eating a burger, a beautiful burger, no sauce, nothing on it. How about a waffle? Are you eating a plain waffle?
Pancake, nothing. Pancake, no butter, no sauce, anything. Just dry pancake.
That sounds like a choking hazard. That actually doesn't sound safe to do.
Bagel, do you have cream cheese on it?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just a plain bagel.
That's psycho. I mean, come on, dude. That's nuts. You're just eating plain stuff in this world. Ira.
He said Thursday or Friday, can we do a jersey raffle?
You want a jersey raffle? You got it. Ira, you got it. You want to do it Thursday? Let's do it. Actually, let's do it Friday. And the only reason why I say Friday, Ira, is we have a Chat Sports company outing. So, shout out to the nation. You guys, I always say, like, none of the money that we get here doesn't go to me, doesn't go to Jeremy.
Cullen looks like he eats plain waffles.
It always goes back in to the company pool. And, it always goes into getting you guys more content, more videos here at Chat Sports. Long story short, we were able to, hire some new people here at the company in the last few weeks.
Couple worked out.
We're gonna, and we're gonna go out to dinner on Thursday. So I don't want to promise anything crazy on Thursday, but I'm just telling y'all this right now, which I'm probably gonna regret telling y'all. I have a feeling Chugs and I are gonna be pretty hungover on Friday. Friday happy hour is gonna be an interesting day. Friday happy hour is going to be a really, really interesting day.
You're really good.
Yep. Ira, you're in, and then I also see Gunny, you in.
What did I miss?
LA Crash Dog, you in.
Noah Santana.
Got my Jim Otto jersey. Y'all are the realest. That's awesome. You're probably just the one that was in the right size. So I don't know if you guys could tell, but some of the jersey I've been wearing recently.
No. This was the we did a raffle for.
Yeah, we sent a Jim Otto jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying it's because of the size. So where we usually get our jerseys from Nike.
Oh, yeah. Because they have his size in stock.
Correct. So he was able to get it. Like the February, March, April, and May MVPs, the Bang MVPs, still have not gotten their jerseys yet because they all wear the same jersey size. And because it's out of stock.
I don't know why you said that when you said their size.
That's true. It's like, because it's one size. They're bigger than me.
Putter.
I think it's 2XL. But I've had to go with different jerseys because they can't get made. So now medium. I wear a medium, I know.
LA Crash Dog, I'm up. What's up, fam? Raider Nation for life, real one for life. And never forget that Semper Fi.
Cheers to my man, LA Crash Dog.
Allie
$20
looks like she's trying to
Venmo.
start a fire.
What?
Said Allie looks like she's trying to start a fire over here. I just turn over and she's.
You know what that reminds me of? The Beer Fest skit. No, it's not even a skit with the grandma.
Yep. I knew exactly what you were about to say.
Holy shit, salami. All right, we got 360 people here watching. I say we get into this final segment.
Oh my God! Speaking of finals segment, if you want to watch any of the NBA Finals games, another reminder: the amazing Allie Barefoot and Jake Smitty are going to be doing our Celtics stream And I'm actually going to be on our Mavs stream tomorrow.
What'd you call him?
Jake Smitty.
Oh.
His name?
Jake Smitty? Am I missing something?
What? Smitty's not his first name.
Neither is Jake. Jake Smitty. For the record.
I think I might have mixed names up together.
Might have?
I've known this guy.
Tyler Chip
Tyler Chip.
is basically what you would have just said.
I think I mixed up him and Chipper's name.
Jeff Barefoot.
Well, it's hard whenever you never say his first name. I don't think. When's the last time somebody called you Tyler in this office?
In this office? No.
Considering where he sits, never.
Well, we don't call Tyler either.
Well, no.
It's Tej.
That's right.
True. I don't think we call anybody their actual name here.
Brett.
Yeah. Who? I call James Yodes. Even that.
Yodes.
All right. I know where we stand now.
Am I the only one? I might actually be one of the only ones.
Mitch. Chase.
Chase. Harry. Harry's that.
Nope, but that's not his Harrison.
Coop. We're going through right now everybody in our office, and nobody goes by their first name.
We call him Moose or colonoscopy.
The question is, which one's closer? Seeps, Marsh.
But yes, Tyler Smitty
Yep.
and Allie Barefoot will be on our Celtic stream, and I'll actually be on our Mavs stream tomorrow.
Wait, really?
Yes.
You're doing the Mavs game
I'm
tomorrow?
going to be doing the Mavs game tomorrow with Harrison Graham. So if you want to pull up, maybe party with us tomorrow night, I'll be doing our Mavs stream because Coop got tickets to the game.
What a douche. I'll make a deal with you guys tomorrow. I'm just saying, if you want to hear a wild deal that requires me to run back into the studio, I'll do it.
So if you want to...
It's going to be a bitch, but I'll do it.
If you want to join us tomorrow, once again, tomorrow, Game 3 of the NBA Finals, I'll be on our Mavs stream going up against Allie Barefoot, and somebody I just realized his first name is Tyler Smitty.
Yep. His last name's actually also not Smitty. What a disaster this has become.
I feel like I just made out with somebody and called them by the wrong name.
That'll happen to you.
You've
been out of the game for a while.
That might be worse than whenever I called Allie Abby.
I don't know about that. I know, I just said it. I called Allie Abby once. See, actually,
she was not happy.
I'm really bad at remembering names, remembering people. I'm usually okay at faces. I think it's really bad when, like, I'll go up to one of Alex's friends. I'm like, oh, hi, I'm Mitch. And they're like, yeah, we've met 3 times. I'm like, this is horrendous. This is brutal. You guys do it to me, too, though, sometimes, where it's like, hey, Mitch, my name is I'm for me, believe. You can't recognize me from YouTube. And I'm like, nope.
Ed, Mitch, Allie's new nickname is Bigfoot from the first game. Is this true, Allie? Bigfoot?
She kind of gave us a I'm not sure look.
I think only Hunter can call her that.
Bigfoot? I feel like that's worse. I feel like he's the last person that should call her that. No?
I don't know. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Salami.
People are talking. Tyler Smitty.
Here we go. We got to get into this next segment, dude. Somehow I've had 4 sips of a beer and I feel drunk.
But no, that's why I'm coming in late tomorrow.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. That makes sense. I'm gonna make you a boot deal tomorrow on your Mavs game. I'm not gonna like it, but
the thing is, it's like my wife is a Mavs fan. I'm a Rockets fan.
Oh.
So I was joking with them. Do I wear a James Harden jersey tomorrow?
That's a disaster.
Do I wear it? I even have a Dwayne Wade jersey. Do I wear that tomorrow? But I might just wear a blue polo.
You wear like a blue Chat Sports polo. Or
if we had Chat Sports polos, that'd be nice.
Or a jersey. You wear a jersey. That's a whole nother can of worms there, my friend.
I'd love a Chat Sports polo.
Whole nother can of worms. Coming up here on the show, Maybe another Ira bang. I don't know. No, Ira, you're done for the day. I'm cutting you off. You're done for the day. Somebody said I owe a boot on Friday. Do I owe a boot on Friday? I don't think I do. I don't think I owe a boot on Friday. We're going to do a jersey raffle on Friday for Crash Dog. Or not Crash Dog, for Ira Jackson.
Oh, Allie, Ed said it's because it took you 20 minutes to do a boot. She just snapped. She said, mind your business, Ed. That's how she said it, too.
That's exactly how she said it. I don't...
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You ruined her dress. Honey, it was ruined when she bought it.
Dude, Alex has been watching this show. It's like, I think it's called, it's like...
What movie was that reference from?
I have no idea.
You know what movie that's from?
She's been watching this drag show. It's kind of wild, man.
Cat in the Hat. Yes.
Cat in the Hat?
You ruined Mom's dress. Honey, it was ruined when she bought it.
Would you do drag?
Huh?
How big of a super chat for you to do drag? You could do it. You'd be
To
good
do
at
drag?
it. Yeah, you'd be good at it. I'm not going to lie. I've wanted to go to a drag brunch for a while. You would be good at it.
I just wouldn't want to shave my beard.
Oh, it's true. I mean, it would grow back. It would. You could do it.
The closest I came to was me and my best friend growing up. His mom wore wigs, and one time she was at work, and it was during the summer, and we went into her closet and stole her wigs. And my buddy looked straight up like Serena Williams.
I mean, I'll say this, though. I don't know if the nickname Chugs is great for drag.
Coming to the main stage, Chugs.
Chugs. Honestly, with a name like that, you probably could keep your beard.
I'm me for believe says I'm dragging ass every day.
Yeah? You know what? Do you like Wendy's? It sounds like you would. All right, dude, we got to get this next segment.
Last segment. Updated Raiders 53-man roster during Raiders Mandatory Minicamp.
Wow, you don't say. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, we got an updated Raiders 53-man roster projection during Raiders Mandatory Minicamp. OTAs just finished up last week, and I like to do this show multiple times in the offseason just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a mindset of where I'm thinking this organization's at, where I think that this team is at. I did a 53-man projection at the end of the NFL draft, so if you want to go back and kind of check how these compare, because I'm going to say I have 5 different players on this one than compared to when I had it back in after the draft. So as it stands right now, the Las Vegas Raiders have 91 players on their roster. They're allowed to carry 91 dudes because of the International Pathway Program player David Agoa, which means from now until the season starts, until they kick off week 1 against the Chargers, give me an FLAC, means we got to get this team down to 53 players. So that's what I'm going to try to do today. Today, I am going to do my best job if I were to sit down with Antonio Pierce, sit down with Tom Telesco, and figure out what they would do if I also had a say of that 53-man. Now, if you're looking for free Raiders videos every single day in the offseason, I want you to hit that subscribe button. If you want to help me take down our 49ers report in our June sub battle, hit that subscribe button. If you just want to hang out with the nation because you like having a good time and it's family around here, hit that subscribe button. Also, do me a huge favor and turn on those notifications. I got to give a shout out to our Noti gang. Cherry44, Jaime, the king of the Noti gang. We got Oscar, Cali Raider. And then Carly's Kruger has been popping up yet again. Shout out to the Noti gang. If you don't know what it is, it means you got those notifications turned on and you try to be one of the very first people down in the comment section. So the way that we're going to do this 53-man projection is we're going to start with quarterback, and then we're going to work our way all the way down to special teams. I will say the number that you see next to the players is the number of me just simply counting out the 53-man. So that way you can see how many players we're at, the number that we're at, and it's just, I've done this show so many times that in my mind, it's kind of the easiest way for me to go through a 53. I'll also say this, if you've never done your own 53-man, you should 100% do it. It's very challenging, and I'm always curious to see where you decide to go with your roster with some of these extra spots. So first, let's look at the quarterback room here. We got 4 guys on this team: Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Anthony Brown Jr., and then the UDFA Carter Bradley. The last time I did this, I went with the 3 players that were pictured. And here's the thing. I went with something a little bit different this time, just based off of the reports that we've seen from OTAs and just the way that I think that the Luke Getsy offense is being created. I do think that a quarterback like a Carter Bradley probably fits a little bit closer to that mold of Aiden the Gardner Minshew. So because of that reasoning and because of his background knowledge of defenses, for those that don't know, his dad, Gus Bradley, former Raiders defensive coordinator, 3 QBs, these are the 3 that I'm going to keep. Let's go to the running back position. This one was a very, very difficult one, and my guy Graff is probably going to be a little bit upset with the decision that I had to go with, but, I had to go with some tough decisions in the 53, and it's kind of a good thing. It just means that the team's getting a little bit better. Obviously, I ended up keeping Zamir White. The Raiders, they signed Alexander Madison this offseason, but just because they signed a player does not make them a lock to make this team. With that being said, I do see the Raiders keeping 4 running backs, and I did not like the gut feeling that I have keeping only 4 backs. I just don't feel like it's enough depth. I feel like that this is like something might be a little bit missing in this, but you got 2 solid backs in White and Alexander Madison between the tackles, and then you got 2 special teams guys that can also catch the football here. It just opens up an avenue for you to keep a few other positions that I do think are a little bit more important, and I think it also helps out for special teams. You've heard the Raiders talk so much about special teams, which we'll get to here in a little bit. How about this, though? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's show. I usually ask this a lot more when I'm live because I like to see who's watching our live shows and who's rocking with me. How about this? I know a lot of people can't watch this show live. I know that the nation is everywhere, and I love seeing it. Heck, I saw a Raider fan during my buddy's bachelor party up in the Poconos. The nation spreads far and wide. Shout out your area code down below. I grew up in the 570. I'm guessing Raider 831 is from the 831. Let me know where your area code is. Shout out to the nation. Let's go to the wide receiver position group now, and I'm just going to say this. I'm putting Brock Bowers in the tight ends group, where last time I put him in wide receiver, I did it for a graphic reason, which probably doesn't mean all that much to y'all, but you're not going to see Brock Bowers here. Don't panic. He did end up making the team. Raiders have a really solid wide receiver group. You got Davante, you got Jakobi, you got a lot of guys with some experience. After that, though, there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of no names, and there's going to be a name on this list that I do think takes people by surprise, and that name is DJ Turner. And I couldn't even believe myself that I put Turner on this list, and the fact that I picked Turner over a guy like Sincere McCormick simply just illustrates that Turner gives you some of that flexibility on special teams. Raiders special teams coordinator literally less than 2 weeks ago said that he loves DJ Turner. And because of these new kickoff rules, I am really genuinely curious if the Raiders, who have a lot of turnover this year, what if they decide to stick with something with McMahon, DJ Turner, and let him maybe be a gunner, maybe being a kick returner, especially if you're going to carry 4 running backs on your team. Let's go to the tight end group here now, which is where you're going to see Brock Bowers. There's a part of me that's flirting with the idea of keeping an extra tight end because of the 12 personnel that, Bowers to me is going to be playing in the slot, which that means he's also going to line up at tight end. You know that Michael Mayer is going to make the team. You know that Harrison Bryant's going to keep the team. But, are they going to keep an extra tight end? I battled. I thought about it. I don't think they're going to keep Fotheringham or Samuel Schnenker. And I just decided this time to leave Zach Gentry off. I battled with it. This was another one that I'm very confident in the 3 tight ends that you see up on screen. But just because I believe we are going to do so much 2 tight end sets and rely on the tight end room, if one of these guys were to go down, you'd be in a little bit of a pickle. But I decided to keep 3. Let's now go to the offensive line. The last time that I did a Raiders 53-man projection for the offensive line, I kept only 8 linemen. Due to some of the injury concerns that we have had already this offseason around a Jackson Powers-Johnson, around a Kolton Miller, I had to say we need another player. If you got a quarterback like Gardner, Aiden O'Connell, this team needs to have a solid offensive line at all points. And you need to be able to have the depth that really helps you propel forward and be that dominator on the interior. For the Raiders, I'm going to keep the 5 guys that are pictured, which, again, not going to surprise anybody. Your 3rd rounder, Delmar Glaze, Cody Whitehair gives you a little bit of that flexibility. I think he was legitimately signed to be that backup center if need be. Andres Pete, backup to Kolton Miller. And then Jordan Meredith is this other fringe player, if you will, on the O-line. But as it stands, 53 players. I am keeping only 24 on offense. And the reason why I'm keeping less players on offense is because, to me, the players on defense are just better. And I had to make some tough cuts. But again, I'm going to keep the players that I think make our top 53 guys, the best 53 overall team. That's what I tried to build. So Father's Day, y'all, it's right around the corner, and I got to know, is your dad a Raiders fan? Give me a yes, give me a no. I'll be real. My dad, not a Raider fan. But you know what? He does support me, and he does rock a lot of Raiders gear, believe it or not. Jim Otto's his favorite player. But you know what, man? You don't want to be the dude that forgets about the opportunity to get your dad something. If you're a dad watching the show, and, I don't know, your son's a dad. I'm a dog dad, Hey, best dad ever. Chatsports.com/RaidersDad. This link's going to be available to you all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. And quite frankly, it's probably your last opportunity. The Father's Day sale usually ends right before Father's Day, but I'm also probably not going to be talking about it anymore because if you're buying a Father's Day gift on Friday, you're probably a little bit late to the party. I think that you can there's coffee mugs, there's wine stuff, there's beer, things for pictures, whether you're wearing it, whether you're trying to create a lasting memory. Shopping for dad is tough. I get it. And he's also going to tell you that he doesn't need anything. But hey, it's always nice to get something. Chatsports.com/RaidersDad. Let's now go to the defensive side of the football here where, again, I had to make some tough cuts, right? You're just always going to have to make tough decisions. But I did decide to go with a little bit of a different route with the defensive ends because last time I kept only 4. This time, I'm going to keep 5. And when you look at the players that are featured here, Tyree Wilson is one of those dudes. Maxx Crosby, Malcolm Koonce, Tyree Wilson, that's the easy list of names. After that, though, if I told you I'm keeping 2 more players, I do think that you would scratch your head. And some of you might be like, oh, it's David Agoa. David Agoa is on this team because he is part of that international pathway program. So he's one of the 91 guys. He's technically one of the 54 players that end up making this team. But he's not a part of the 53-man roster because he doesn't have to be. So, with that being said, I'm still going to keep Janorius Robinson. At this point, if they didn't cut him yet, just tells me that they're probably not going to do it. But I am going to be adding in a UDFA. And last offseason, I fell in love with Adam Plant Jr. Maybe I'm just falling in love with the juniors. Probably can't even say that thing out loud. That's one of the ultimate bosses I've ever said on this show. But for Ron Stone, he got $170,000. I know, right? That one's brutal. He got $170,000 of guaranteed money to sign as a UDFA. Been a lot of reports out there that he just continues to impress at practice. And I know how thin this team is at defensive end. Ron Stone is the UDFA right now that I think all of y'all should keep your eyes on, not just the juniors. Let's go to defensive tackle now here for this one. And Christian Wilkins is a stud. Adam Butler, John Jenkins, you brought those guys back. Though there are a lot of question marks around a guy like a Byron Young, Nesta Jade Silvera. Raiders re-signed Marquand McCall this offseason. Matthew Butler, he missed practice for mandatory minicamp on Tuesday. So, this team could go in a lot of different directions. I also know that with Patrick Graham, they are going to rely heavily on this defensive line. Rob Leonard has kind of spoke about this in great lengths as well. I am going to end up keeping 6 defensive tackles. I will say, though, the guy that just continuously I don't know is Nesta Jade. I'm also kind of curious, though, with Matthew Butler, him unable to practice for that first day of mandatory minicamp, one of only 3 players unable to do so. Byron Young got some compliments from some of the Raiders coaching staff, also got compliments from Rob Leonard, the Raiders defensive line coach. When a player like Matthew Butler randomly stops practicing, he was able to practice at times during OTAs, it does make me wonder if the Raiders are shopping him. Not saying they are, just something to keep in mind. Let's go to linebacker here. It's the next position for our Raiders 53-man roster projections. And, you're getting down there to the nitty-gritty. I know that Tom McMahon, the Raiders special teams coach, said that linebacker could be a spot that they decide to keep a few extra players on due to special teams. And I really, really thought about this one. However, I wanted to be able to keep a few extra players on some other spots. So I actually only ended up keeping 4 linebackers Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, Tommy Eichenberg, who they drafted in the 5th round, and then Amari Burney, who is going to be a good player this year for the Raiders from a special team standpoint. Luke Masterson, when Antonio Pierce took over, his special team snaps continue to go down and down and down. And the only reason that I would have kept Masterson on this team is for that extra special teams ability. And because they've already showed you last year that his snaps went down, that's why Masterson unfortunately did not make this roster. So what do you think about this? If you think that the Raiders are going to have more than 6.5 wins because Vegas thinks that the Raiders are going to have 6.5 wins, I want you to click the like button on this video right now. I was watching the Raiders live show on Tuesday, and it took like 30 minutes for Crosby to take the podium, and I'm sitting there watching, and you get a bunch of guys that watch this show, other shows, and there was a debate of how many games the Raiders were going to win, and it basically looked like everybody was picking 6.5, so I said, all right, you know what? Put your money where your mouth is. Click that like button if this team is winning more than 6.5 games, because I definitely think so. Let's go to the cornerback position, and this was another spot that I'm like, we need another guy. And we talk about free agents a lot. Stephon Gilmore, Xavien Howard, Steven Nelson ended up retiring. Adoree Jackson is a name that we've thrown out there. I'm going to show you the corners that I've ended up keeping, and you're going to look at it and go, oh, I don't love it. There's some upside there, but you are going to sit there and you're going to be like, I just don't love it. We need to add an extra guy. I'll tell you who I ended up keeping and which corners I ended up hanging around here on this roster. Before I do, though, if you want to tune in live when we go break down our Madden games, Week 6, Week 7, I am doing this week, June 13th, Thursday, June 14th, Friday. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. We get wet and wild on the Raiders Report for game day. Guess what? We do the exact same thing for our Madden sim. So if you want to pay attention all season long, take a screenshot, put it down in your calendar. I promise you, we're not boring here in the offseason. We have a lot of fun on these Madden things. Some people might say too much fun. So the Raiders cornerback group, Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, both are going to make this team. Besides that, I could make an argument of why each player that you see featured could at least potentially make it. Now, the one name that was kind of hard for me is Armstrong, because the way that the Raiders have described the cornerbacks that they want for special teams is literally how they describe Armstrong, long, lanky guy. I'm going to end up keeping, though, 6 corners as it stands right now. Brandon Faison's the name that I ended up keeping, where last time I did this, I ended up cutting him because I thought the Raiders would use the money that you could save from cutting Faison. If you were to cut Faison, you'd save $2.6 million, and I had the Raiders keeping Sam Webb. I'm a Sam Webb believer, though new regime, maybe they're not going to be as high on him. I think all the other names, nobody's really going to disagree with me, but this team needs to add another freaking player. Let's go to safety. It's the next and final position. We'll get into the special teams guys here, though, in just a moment. But safety is another spot that this is good depth, right? Like, if I'm a safety on this team and I don't make it, I don't really take it personal. I'm just on a very deep and good safety group. Merrigan Epps, they're locks to make it. The Raiders drafted Trey Taylor, 7th rounder, which not every time if you take somebody in the 7th round, it means that they're a lock to make it. I do in this situation think that he is going to be a lock to make this team. He's already been impressive. Isaiah Polamayo is another name, and then the next one is going to be Chris Smith. So I'm keeping 5 safeties on this team. And a lot of versatility here. You can go in a bunch of different directions. Like, say that again? Semi-linebacker, I think, is another way that the Raiders could do it. Like, they try to take Isaiah Polamayo, make him a safety linebacker hybrid. And you've even seen some NFL teams try to do it with a safety like a Divine Diablo in college, convert him to a linebacker. I'm starting to wonder if you're going to maybe even see some linebackers maybe try to get converted to some safeties just to be a little bit more flexible, be able to handle some more of the dime packages, if you will, in the NFL. Finally, let's round it out. Maybe this is where we're the strongest. Daniel Carlson, place kicker. A.J. Cole at punt, which if you guys haven't seen the shot A.J. Cole made last weekend, dude drained a 3 from like half court at an Aces game. It's pretty well, not an Aces game, but basically at the Aces facility. And then Jacob Moyer at long snapper. That's my Raiders 53-man roster projection. Now, here's what I know. I left somebody off my list. I'm going to see somebody that could agree with 52 out of the 53 players that I did. But somebody's going to tell me how bad of a video it is because I left off one guy. Here you go. Tell me how bad I am at my job. Let me know. Who did I leave off my Raiders 53-man roster? Because the 5 players that I thought were the hardest for me to cut, just based on, team fit, all these different things, were these 5 players here. Anthony Brown, he very well could make the team. I actually think that it's probably an unpopular opinion, me putting Carter Bradley above Anthony Brown. Jalen Guyton was signed this offseason. The wide receiver depth, the fact that a guy like Jack Jones has taken snaps at receiver at practice during first day of minicamp makes me a little bit concerned about their depth there at wide receiver. Zach Gentry, because a lot of 12 personnel. Sam Webb, to me, he's good enough to be on this team if our team is what it is right now. Different regime, though, so maybe. And then Luke Masterson, it's a player that I think when he's gotten opportunities, he actually has looked okay. I would keep him if I needed that extra linebacker, and I would probably cut somebody else like a DJ Turner personally. But these were the 5 players that I thought just missed the cut for my personal Raiders 53-man roster. Now, again, y'all, if you haven't yet, make sure you're tuning into all of our live shows on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, and do not miss our Madden simulation. It's a big game. Week 6, live on the Raiders Report Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. All right, Jeremy Chugs, are you still going? Well, I took Celtics in 7. I actually don't remember your prediction. Do you remember your prediction?
I wasn't here that day. The Monday that y'all took the video, that was the Monday I had off.
You're right. So obviously, what are you going with?
Mavs in 7.
Mavs in 7? I just want a game 7. That's all I need is a game 7. You give me a game 7, and I'm going to be a happy guy.
But like I said, catch me tomorrow on the Mavs live stream. I'll be causing a ton of havoc.
Ultra in. Ultra B-A-B you in. All right, Jeremy. Final call to get in. $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. You would win $130 on the Raiders Report. Final call, and you don't have to show that because we already got the first 10.
Oh, we did?
Yep. And then, again, the first 10 people that got in this duck race, I said I would add you to our Zoom call. For Crash Dog, Ira, I don't know if you guys were in the first 10, but Crash Dog, I'll invite you, so you're good. Gunny always shows up. So, yeah, we're good there. I think I'm all caught up on all the names. I'll send you the list of names here real quick. I'm going to send them to the TV.
Last chance to get in.
Last chance for you.
It's the final countdown.
Also, reminder, Friday we're going to do a jersey giveaway courtesy of Mount Raider Moore's Ira Jackson for hitting the gong today and making me drink for essentially the 5th day in a row. I'm telling you what, I'm hurting. Like, it was funny. One of my buddies bought Happy Dads this weekend because he's like, dude, you drink them all the time. And I'm like, I don't like Happy Dads. Outside of work, I can't drink them anymore.
Well, it's like if you work at a pizza place,
you're probably not gonna eat.
You
pizza.
don't want pizza on your off day.
Yeah, no,
Like,
you're not wrong.
In high school, I worked at Freebirds, and it's like on my off days, I was like, I don't really want like Mexican food. I eat it all the time. I guess it's not technically the same, but it's like
It's kind of the
I'm
same
eating,
thing.
Like fajitas and queso and stuff all the time.
It's kind of the same thing. I mean, it is. Like I was in high school, I was a valet parking assistant. I never wanted to valet, you know. I'm just kidding.
I was a valet in college, but I was the manager.
I did roofing in high school and a little bit in college.
You can make some good money valeting.
Oh, dude.
It just sucks.
It's
because you're just standing outside for like 7 hours.
See, I did it in the summer, not so bad. The 1 year, it was right when I first got done with college.
I did it all year long.
I did it in the winter one time in Pennsylvania. Dude, it would literally like rain and be like 30 degrees. It's just
the worst, though, is whenever you would run to go get somebody's car, come back, and then they don't tip.
Yeah. Randall Carter, you're in. I think
always tip your valet drivers.
Luis Rod, you in. I think actually the worst part about it, and I'm not kidding you when I say this.
People have bad smelling cars.
Yes. So it was a law when I used to work there that you couldn't touch windows. So like if somebody's window was up, you can't put it down. Just in case. Also, like when you park the car, the window always had to be up in case it rained. Dude, there was a card that, oh my God, I got in. When I tell you there was mold growing on the back seat, there was literally mold growing on the back seat. There was so much McDonald's food in their car. Just in their car. It was, even like the steering wheel, you'd like slide right off it. It was.
So
oh,
mine
dude.
wasn't that bad, but actually the funny thing is, the worst car I ever got into, the worst smelling car, and I legit almost threw up, was one time a woman came in, valeted her car. She was a women's hockey player who kept her gear in her back seat. When I tell you the funk coming from that back seat, I couldn't even describe it to you right now, what it smelled like or how bad it was. But it was so vile. I was like, how do you drive around with this? It smelled disgusting. It was awful.
See, the only reason why I kind of know what that smell is my roommate in college was our catcher, our college catcher. And like, you know, like if you go to like a big school, like I didn't go to a big school for baseball, you might have like practice gear and game gear. Like we only had, you know, game practice gear. Like it's the exact same thing. My buddy's not a small guy. Not most college catchers aren't. His catcher's gear, dude, I'm not kidding you. Like, I can remember when he used to pull out his cup. That's how bad it would smell. Like, you could smell his cup.
Will you check for Randall Carter? Randall Carter asked.
So I actually just sent you 2 extra names. Randall Carter, Luis Rod. Yep. So now we have 15 people in, which means winner will get $150. And reminder, if you got in, if you're one of the first 10 people that got in our duck race today, make sure you send me your email. To the other 15 people that are in, if you still want to send me your email in case like we don't fill up all the spots, it'll help me out a little bit. We're going to do a Zoom call tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So just keep that in mind. Winner of this race, $150. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, run it. Here we go. All right. This one's already just...
This one might be my favorite because there's so many different characters in it.
See, I like it. It's also a close race, and I will say this is the one from my memory that's always different, where it's like, you know, like the normal ducks, it's like if you're leading, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
This is one that's always different.
I just like looking and seeing all the characters. Like there's a Mario and a Luigi on this one. There's a Captain
Panda.
America on the bottom. Looks like just like a duck. A Pikachu.
Wild One's Batman. 100%.
Oh, yeah, Batman. I think LA Crash Dog might be Sonic.
I don't even see
Ryan
Gunny.
Bass's looks like Link.
There's the Flash.
A
You'd think he
panda?
would win. I mean, Ira Jackson has led this the entire time. He kind of looks like if Duck and Corn had it the long way.
Oh! Randall! Carter!
150. 150 for Randall Carter. I'll tell you what, that's a good race. That's like, you ever see like that video of that kid? He's like at the gym, like a weight drops and he catches it perfectly, and he's like,
Yes.
that's what that reminded me of.
Somebody said it looked like you put LA Crash Dong.
I might have. I mean, it's not impossible. I'll tell you that. It's definitely not an impossible thing that could happen.
Not an impossible hot dog. Noah Santana, last place.
Damn, brutal. Absolutely damn brutal. Damn, brutal. All right, if you guys want more Raiders minicamp news, I'm going to do my best tomorrow to get you guys an extra video. So just, you know, be on the lookout for that. We'll see what ends up happening, though. Tomorrow it does sound like it's a little bit of a walkthrough day for the Silver and Black. I'll be back on Thursday, Madden game. It's going to be a fun day, final day of Raiders minicamp. And then Friday, you're going to get a very hungover Mitch and Chugs. We're going to do a jersey giveaway that day, Ira Jackson. So be on the lookout for that. And if any breaking news happens, you already know, we'll be here. From me, from Jeremy Chugs, peace out. See you guys.